thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Gotta love those little mistakes during the show. You know what I mean? Right at the beginning of the show. It's always fun. It's always fun when those things do happen. Good evening. Good evening. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Tuesday evening. I don't know about you guys, but I felt in my heart of hearts that I needed to get on here and talk about a few things because there's been some things that have been sitting in my inbox from all you lovely individuals that have been sending me a gang of different things. There are a few other things that we need to cover. There's some stories that have been popping off as of late, like, for example, security. Some people have been interviewed that were part of the security detail that, most definitely, it definitely is something that needs to be addressed. And I wanted us to see it before it gets too late, meaning it'll be old news by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. So I was kind of like, you know what, let me jump on here for a short time, but a good time, and go through a couple of things. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the fam who's been emailing me and all that, and also retweeting and tagging me and stuff on Twitter as well with some video clips and all that. I really do appreciate it because real talk, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be tapped upon, looked at, talked about. And there's, like I said, there's some pieces that I've just let sit and fester for a minute because I've just been so busy trying to put together this morning show, which I hope you guys really enjoyed that because that was an epic show. Man, I wish I had shows like that every single day. But we're working towards that to make sure something like that happens on the reg. You feel me? But before we jump into everything, and before we go into all the things, like, for example, Drake finally made a statement a few hours ago. A security guard actually does come out and speak on behalf of the hiring process. How he was hired, right? There's also some information in regards to what they were calling certain people that were, I guess, sick or I'm not sick, that were in dire straits, certain terms that they were calling the people that were actually dying in the concert, which is very interesting. It was like a code word that they were given. And then, of course, there was a medical staff individual, which I mentioned about this morning on this morning show, but we just did not have enough time to talk about it this morning. Like I said, this morning show was bloody epic, man. Okay, bloody epic. Okay. So I didn't have time to do that. So I was like, you know what? Let me jump on here really quick. Let me drag my tired ass from my long ass day, hop in front of this camera real quick and chop it up with you guys on some information that we, at least on this show, have not seen. Okay. And Michonne, Denise, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate it. You work harder than the Jackson 5. Papa Jackson is in the other room with a switch, just ready for me if I make a mistake or if I miss a dance move or if I turn the wrong direction. So I got to be on my one, on point here. Okay, I got to be on my P's and Q's, everybody. But Michonne, thank you so much for the super chat. It really does mean a lot. But anyway, for those of y'all who are just starting to file in, I'll say it right now, okay? Of course, hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. Share this feed. And of course, don't forget to crush that subscribe button. It'd be really appreciated. I'm working hard out here in these streets. We're slowly marching towards 50,000 subscribers, and it means the world to me. So please hit that subscribe button. But anyway, we have got to get into these stories. And like I said, there's a bunch of different things that we need to talk about. Not only just what is in the title, there's a bunch of other pieces that were mentioned this morning, but I didn't really get a chance to talk about this morning. So I figured, might as well jump into some of those things before we go into the headlines, if you will. The headlines of this show. And like I said, there's some stuff that you do not want to miss if you've been watching this festival tragedy fiasco unfolding online. This stuff is absolutely crazy, and it's it's just terrible. It's just terrible, as we already know, right? But one piece that I said, and I said this in passing on this morning's show, that I figured that we all need to see with our two eyes. Okay, Travis Scott was warned about the AstroWorld crowd by Houston police before the deadly surge. I'm just going to throw in allegedly, just in case. Okay, but this is from the article from the news website Metro. Okay, and they are literally saying that Travis Scott was warned by Houston PD, okay, by the Houston police chief about the crowd before ish hit the fan, y'all. So he been known, allegedly. He been known about this ish, allegedly. Let's get into this article. So, it says right here, Travis Scott was warned about the crowd at his AstroWorld Festival moments before the fans were killed and injured during a crowd surge. Obviously, we already know 8 people, one as young as 14. We also have people that are injured right now, some as young as 9 years old. We got to point that out really quick. There is a large span of age. It's a vastly large age range here of people that are injured and people who have died. Okay. So obviously, dozens are also injured after people were crushed when the crowd surged towards the stage in Houston, Texas. Houston Police Chief Troy Feiner confirmed that he visited the rapper in his trailer. Let me say this again. Like I said, maybe some of y'all, this is still very new to you. Maybe you don't know this information, or maybe you do, but I'm just going to plant this seed a little bit deeper into the meat of your brain matter, all right? To reconfirm, Houston Police Chief Troy Feiner confirmed that he visited the rapper in his trailer to voice concerns, quote unquote, about the crowd that had amassed for the Friday show at Energy Park. So right there in black and white, y'all. Let me make sure this is nice and blown up for all y'all in the nosebleed seats. I know that's like really, really tiny print, but let me just blow it up a little bit bigger. So you know, and I'm not even going to do this too for you. I'm just going to highlight that really quick right there. Hopefully you guys can read that right there. So the police chief walked all the way over to his trailer to chop it up with him and say, "Oh yeah, you know, hey man, nice to meet you. But by the way, crowd's getting a little a little rowdy, maybe too rowdy. There's 50,000 people that are losing their damn minds out here. Maybe it's not a good idea to jump into this thing." So, in a statement shared on Monday, Feiner explained, "I met with Travis Scott and his head of security for a few moments last Friday prior to the main event. I expressed my concerns regarding public safety and that in my 31 years of law enforcement experience, I have never seen a time with more challenges facing citizens of all ages, to include a global pandemic and social tension throughout the nation." He continues, "I asked Travis Scott and his team to work with HPD for all events over the weekend and to be mindful of his team's unscheduled events. The meeting was brief and respectful, and a chance for me to share my public safety as chief of police. Of course, obviously, this statement comes after footage and social media posts trawled by the Houston Chronicle indicated people began collapsing by 9:38 p.m., nearly 40 minutes after Scott came onto the stage. So Scott's promoter quickly agreed to stop the show, yet the 30-year-old, here it is, yet the 30-year-old named Jacques Berman Webster II appeared to keep playing till the end of his 75-minute set. He went for 75 minutes and stopped at 10:15 p.m. The newspaper reported. He did his whole damn sit. Now, this is all alleged. Let me just say this really quick. This is all alleged. But what we know right now, according to this article, and according to the chief of police, Chief Feiner, he went over to Travis Scott and his team, said, hey, it's getting unruly out here. I'm a little concerned. They ingested that information. They took it in. They said, we got you, man. We good. Like I said, they heard all this stuff. He still went on. Like I said right here, Scott's promoter quickly agreed to stop the show, yet the 30-year-old rapper appeared to keep playing till the end of his 75-minute set at 10:15 p.m. He did the whole damn show. He brought all his friends out, all his featured people, including Drake. Everybody came on. Then he said, peace out. I love y'all. Be good to each other. I'm out. Me gone. And he exited left or right, whichever way you were looking at it. So, once again, he was warned. 5-0 came up to him and said, 5-0 not only came up to him, but his promoter, his team, and said, hey, it's getting a little rowdy out here. I hope you'll shut things down if it gets too crazy. Now, here it is, though, guys. We also got to remember, we have a guy who is very much used to, sorry, I didn't mean to have this whole subscribe thing up there that long. I didn't see that. We have a guy who is used to bringing in chaos. He likes craziness. He has a history of going up to having people rush the stage, jump over the barricade to get as close as he can, saying, F you, security, F you. Yet that security is not only to keep himself safe, but everybody else safe. And yet he'll sit there and go, F you, F you to the authority, right? F you to the resistance or whatever, right? But like I said, pull this up straight up to the top of the thing. He was warned right here in this title. He was warned about the crowd. Chief of police came up to his ass and said, hey, man, I'm a little worried about this crowd, man. And he said, hey, bro, we got you. It's going to be all right. We're going to do what it do. But if it gets too crazy, trust me, man, I'll shut it down. He goes up there and he does his show. He does his full set. Whilst people are dying. So they've been known, y'all. They've been known, y'all, that they should not have kept the show going. But for whatever reason, they decided to keep going with it. So it does make you wonder, with that piece of information, right? With that little snippet, that's a big piece, actually. That's not even a little snippet. That's not a little snippet. That's thicker than a snicker. Okay. That's a big ass piece of information. Doesn't that change your perspective just a tiny bit? In my personal opinion, it does, without a shadow of a doubt. It makes me change. Well, it confirms my feelings about this whole situation. He was on stage. He knew that the crowd was he already knew before he went onto the stage, allegedly, that he was walking into a frenzied crowd. 50,000 people going crazy. All of them pent up because of what the not only did I say this on the show, but also the cop, even the chief of police said it. Pent up aggressions because of being locked up for almost 2 years, not having a chance to let their freak flag fly for the past 2 years. There's an opportunity to celebrate life to the fullest, go ham, turn this whole experience into a damn movie for their own experience, right? Party their faces off and live, important part, live to tell the tale the very next day, right? Everyone was on that. Everyone was on that selfish, I want to have my own good times. On that selfish tip, people died. You got to remember, it's like, you know, like you'll go out, you'll kick it with your friends, and say you have like one of those nights, right? Yeah, you might be a little buzzed, or you might go and kick it a little bit, and you'd have a little bit of a good time. But there's always that one friend that will always turn it all the way up to 11, right? But there's always one. Imagine 50,000 people all turning it up to 11. That's pretty much what happened. Thousands and thousands of people wanted to throw up their freak flag. They wanted to throw it up into the wind because they said, hey, man, I've been locked up for so long. I just need to express myself. Pop pills, drink, whatever. All of them turned their ish, not even to 11, to 12. Shoot, to 15. And yet this man, right here, knew about it. Cops went up to him, gave him a heads up, and what did he do? He still went on that stage, and he still went ham. And even when people were passed out, he's just sitting there going, hey, humming on top of music and stuff, messing with his auto-tune, while people are dead bodies are getting crowd surfed off to the side. And other people, man, there's so much more footage out there. It's unbelievable. Like almost POV versions of people standing on top of people, bodies on top of bodies, where they're all just trying to grab at an arm, a leg, or something to try to pull themselves back to salvation from the depths of this pit of bodies that they're underneath. Real talk. I'm surprised only 8 people have died. Just the visuals alone, you're like, bruh, are you serious? It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Okay? So I wanted to say that piece really quick because that is an important piece. Kind of adds a little bit more to the story. I'm not going to lie. It adds a lot more to the story. He knew, allegedly. He knew. Bruh knew, y'all. Before he went on the stage that there was chaos in those concert streets. And what he do? He jumped in and he just kept pushing it. He just kept pushing it. Ay. So, there's one other piece I do want to show you guys really quick before we go over to Drake. There is a piece I wanted to show you, and hopefully I can find it really quick. Information Man Show, yeah, damn. Damn right, damn. Like, damn. Really? It's like, damn. You really, you knew? Damn. You were hoping not really, you know what I'm saying? You were hoping that maybe, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, it was an exaggeration. Maybe this is all that. No, 5-0 is saying this unless the cop be lying, unless Popo lying. And I beg to differ. I think he's telling the truth on some real ish. He is telling the dang truth. Now, here's the thing. Within everything right now, right? Within the context of the realm that we are sitting in right now, with this tragedy, right? And of course, everybody is looking at the footage and looking at the clothes that he was wearing, all the way to the set design, to the theme of the actual show and all that. And we're all conspiring, right? We're all coming up with our own conclusions. Some people saying this was a ritualistic thing, and he knew that these people were going to pass because he wants to be one of the special people, one of the chosen people in regards to the Illuminati and all that ish. I mean, if you believe in that, sure, run with that thought. That's on you. But what sucks about all of this is when you have certain things, you have a certain theme that you push out. You are all about that lifestyle of just like, popping pills, doing drugs, getting high, getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? Partying like rock stars, right? It's all fun and it's all fun and dandy until it gets spun back and gets spat in your face. Let me show you what I'm talking about right quick. Now, this is from DL Hughley's Instagram account, but somebody else shared this. This is bad. So, shout out to DJ Academics, man. I don't know how he found this, but he says it right here. He says, somebody tell Travis Scott to delete this post. It's still on his IG account. Now, remember, his IG account, he about all that life of like partying like a rock star. It's all that rock star lifestyle. Getting crazy, getting white boy wasted, right? Not remembering anything, but at least, hey, you still alive. Had the time of my life, man. I got so wasted. That's literally the attitude. So here's the post right here. And this is on Travis Scott's IG page, or at least it used to. I don't know if it's still on there anymore, but the last time, but it was up there, right? And it says, and it's this dude out like a light. I was out like a light, like a light. Anyway, you know that song, that part where Drake is rapping? He's literally talking about how he had the best sleep ever flying in a plane because he took a Xanny. Did anybody know that? And we're all like a light. I'm just saying, random thought. He's rapping about taking a pill and having the best sleep of his life on a plane. Literally. Just listen to the song again. 15 hours till I land. I was out like a light. He's talking about taking a pill and having the best sleep of his life, y'all. Damn. Anyway. And we all like, yeah, he slept good. Anyway, let me get back right. Let me get back here, okay? So here's this post he put on IG. This was in 2015, okay? But it says, to the kid that didn't survive the rodeo, you're a hero in my book. Yeah. Philip Mitchell, yeah, he was rapping about napping. Like a light, like a light. Seriously. He was out like a light. He had the best sleeps flying internationally on his own private jet. The best Xannies in the world, apparently. But look at this. So he's been pushing this kind of lifestyle and this type of attitude for a long ass time. You see what I'm saying? Because hopefully I'm not alone in this. He's been pushing this attitude and pushing this lifestyle like a mug. He likes chaos. He might be the nicest dude in the world behind closed doors. He might be the most reserved, most quiet, most calculated individual in the world. Might be the most eloquent and most amazing, charismatic human being outside of holding a microphone and being on a stage rapping his songs. He could be the nicest dude in the world. But when you post stuff like this, where you're like, yeah, bro, we're going to get wasted, bro, and then people die at your concert, you cannot be surprised when this shit comes back and smacks you right in the ass. Mind you, what I just said earlier, the article I just showed you guys a second ago, he'd been warned. He'd been known before he went on the stage. He knew before he went on the stage. And yet he still went on the stage. And he was all about that life. Because it's all about being a part of that rodeo. It's all about pushing it to the limit, right? Push it to the limit. You know what I mean? Scarface. But for his, it's like he is literally just trying to push it to the limit, but always always survive, always live to tell the tale later on, the next day. Like this photo, he's like, bro, oh my God, bro, I was so wasted, bro. Right? I'm sure. At the time of my life, though, man, what did I do? Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I was so wasted, man. That was crazy. But he at least is still alive to tell the tale. But this is the energy, this is the vibe, this is the vibration that he puts out in his shows. So, of course, he's going to look at, let's just say, of course, he's going to look at the chief of police and go, okay, thank you for letting me know that they're warmed up for me. You see what I'm saying? Oh, they all warmed up for me, baby. You just basically telling me they're ready to have the time of their life. Let's go. Let's go. And that's exactly what happened. You know, and also I have to say this, it's a damn shame too, where you have, like, it's still connected to because they always say it's like there's like some Kardashian curse that's floating around allegedly. And it sucks that this is still, you know what I mean? Like this whole thing is connected to a Kardashian as well, ish. You see what I'm saying? It sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks. Because it just keeps confirming people's theories about this Kardashian-ish. Real talk. But anyway, moving on. I was just trying to throw this out there to show you guys. Real talk. This is the kind of stuff that he would put out on his IG, his Twitter, right? And people eat that stuff up. Showed you guys yesterday on yesterday morning show, where he was telling people to beat up a 10-year-old kid for allegedly trying to take his sneaker. That mosh pit started beating the crap out of the kid. The kid had to go get hospitalized. He had to go to the hospital. As he's walking away, Travis Scott spits on him. Like so. So are we surprised after hearing this story about the cop coming up and saying all this stuff? Are we surprised? Saying, oh, I went up to him. I told him about everything. He didn't say nothing. Are we really that surprised? Comment down below. Comment in the comment section, fam. Let me know. Let me know if I'm on crack. Okay. I might be on crack. But anyway, I see about 550 souls watching the show on all platforms right now. Please do me that small favor. Hit that like button down below. I'd love to see it go past 300 likes. So please crush that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. Oh, and also for those of y'all who have not done this yet, crush that subscribe button, y'all. Okay? Crush that subscribe button. Okay? I would really, really appreciate it. A-Lady747 says, I'm on crack. Well, shoot. It hasn't killed me yet. Dag nabbit. Okay? But anyway, we got to jump into this next piece. Drake finally does speak out, and here is his tweet, or like his IG post. And, let me read it. And, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. He said, I've spent The past few days trying to wrap my mind around this devastating tragedy. I hate resorting to this platform to express an emotion as delicate as grief, but this is where I find myself. My heart is broken for the families and friends of those who lost their lives and for anyone who is suffering. I will continue to pray for all of them, and I will be of service in any way I can. May God be with you all. Now, question. He says, this is I hate resorting to this platform, yet he still used the platform. It's fine. It's cool. I do appreciate him coming out and saying what he needs to say. I also do not think that he is held responsible for this whole situation. I know that we've talked about this quite a lot over the past 48 hours, where we just had Pocket Watching with JT on, where we were talking about why is he getting lumped into this mug? Why is Drake getting thrown in this? He's not the one who put together the show. He is not. He came on to feature as like a surprise guest, a little treat for the audience. He did his piece and he walked off. Now, if there is story that the police came up to him and said, hey, the crowd is getting crazy out here, y'all need to stop, and he went out there and he didn't say anything, that would be a problem. That would absolutely be a huge problem. But I do think that he is an innocent in this situation. I do think that he is getting thrown under the wake of all the turmoil, of all the backlash that Travis Scott is getting. I think that he is getting hit for no reason, in my personal opinion. It's not fair for you to, you come out, you do your thing, you say hi, and you leave, and then suddenly people are hurt. You don't know this. You're only on stage for one song, and then you run off, right? And you probably jumped on a plane and flew back to wherever the hell he was going to. You see what I'm saying? He's probably just hopped on, said, what's up, jumped on, did the song out like a light, you know what I'm saying? Jump off the stage into a plane and flew off to wherever the hell he was going to go to next. You know what I mean? So in regards to that, I really don't think that it's fair for him to be thrown under the bus. Real talk. I really don't. But I will say this, though. I do appreciate this statement. I do appreciate him saying what he needed to say, getting out here and putting at least a statement out there saying that he's devastated, right? But you also got to remember, though, too, just on top of this, Drake doesn't give off this vibe. He doesn't go onto a stage and say, let's rage. He doesn't have that vibe. You know what I'm saying? He's, obviously he's a little bit more in his feelings. He's not really Travis Scott, right? He's just, hold on, we're going home. You know what I mean? He's that guy. He's the light-skinned lover. You know what I mean? The lover boy type stuff, right? So I do appreciate the comment. I do appreciate him getting in front of this and saying what he needed to say. Real talk, But he did come out, and here it is. What are your thoughts? Like I said, everybody trying to throw him under the bus, and I don't think it's unfair. I think it's unfair. He didn't do nothing to nobody that he knew about, But we'll see. We'll see as more information comes out and as more information presents itself over time, because it's coming out. Whether they want it to come out or not, it is coming out. So next thing we got to go into here, y'all. This next story, Brian Enton. Man, this dude is a beast. Shout out to Brian Enton. I need to get that dude on the show. I need to get this dude on this show. I would love to rap with him because he's been covering some crazy stories. Obviously, he was somebody we were watching a lot of when it came to the Brian Laundrie, the Gabby Petito situation and all that. And that was a debacle in itself. You know that. We all went through it together, right? But this time he went to Houston himself, and sat down with one of the guys who was hired as security. And I thought this was a very interesting piece. We need to take a look at it. We definitely need to take a look at this video. It's wild to me. Take a listen.
Do they have any qualifications?
I doubt it because I didn't show anything.
You didn't show anything?
I didn't even show my ID.
And you were in there as a security guard?
Yeah, as a security
Did you have a uniform?
I had a uniform. They gave us a vest.
So you show up, they don't ask for your ID, they don't ask for any certification, and they just hand you the uniform?
They didn't even ask for a phone number. But see, that's,
they know your name?
They know my name. We wrote our name on like a sign and shit.
Respectfully, do you feel like you were qualified for this situation?
I do. I don't believe I was prepared.
You don't think you were prepared?
I was qualified because I believe that if we were all prepared the right way, that stuff wouldn't have happened the way it did, you know?
Okay. We're not done with the whole video. Excuse me. Some liquid went down the pipe. Now, what? So I got to repeat the beginning. Is because I want to make sure you guys heard that ish. Because here it is. He got hired via text. The clip, but I'm just saying this is a huge piece of information. He was hired via text. He didn't need to show any credentials. He didn't even need to show ID, bruh. Not even ID. And he still got the job, y'all. Let's play one more time for the nosebleed seats.
Do they have any qualifications?
I doubt it because I didn't show anything.
You didn't show anything?
I didn't even show my ID.
And you were in there as a security guard?
Yeah, as a security
Did you have a uniform?
I had a uniform. They gave us a vest. I was already in this all black. I was already in all
So
black.
wait, so you show up, they don't ask for your ID, they don't ask for any certification, and they just hand you the uniform?
They didn't even ask for a phone number. But see, that's,
they know your name?
They know my name. We wrote our name on like a sign and shit. But
respectfully, do you feel like you were qualified for this situation?
I do. I don't believe I was prepared.
You don't think you were prepared?
I was qualified because I believe that if we were all prepared the right way, that stuff wouldn't have happened the way it did, you know? The way it did. And honestly, even the people, the amount of people that passed and went unconscious, you know, the amount of injuries could have been avoided.
Okay. First off, they were understaffed, way understaffed, in my personal opinion, as far as security goes and as far as medical staff goes. heavily understaffed. But when they did hire people, he actually feels like he was qualified. But he feels like he wasn't properly prepared for the gig. Why? Because they probably just threw him a vest of some sort that said security on it and said, just, you know, work this area. Maybe no powwow, maybe no conversation, maybe no, hey, here's a heads up, y'all. We're going to be doing this, this, and this. You need to make sure that they have this, 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 and this. If you're working the front gate, you need to make sure that they have the green bracelets like Liliana told us during the interview on this morning show. You have to make sure that their credentials are correct, so on and so forth. Here's how you scan. Here's how you do this. Boop, boop, bebop, skaloopity doo. They need to do all that stuff, and they didn't do any of that. He was just basically given some gloves and a vest and a pat on the ass and said, you know, have a go at it, buddy. Does that make sense? Okay.
And Jackson Bush actually showed up for this job with his uncle. This is him who you see there. He is in a cast because he actually broke his hand during the stampede. He says at one point him and his uncle just wanted to leave because they were so traumatized by what they saw, and they weren't even sure exactly how they were supposed to help people.
It's this story just this whole situation just gets worse and worse and worse. The more and more stories start coming out. This is a very dark rabbit hole, a very dark and deep rabbit hole that just keeps getting crazier. The lower you descend, the more information you start to hear, and you're going, wow, that's really what happened? Like this one security guard right now is saying, yo, we went in, we did the thing, and I might have been, properly qualified to do this job. I don't know about everybody else, but they never asked me for nothing. They never asked me for proof of my experience. They didn't ask for my credentials. They didn't ask me if I was properly vetted for this job. Even then, he says, I was qualified, but at the same time, though, I didn't feel prepared. So no meeting, right, was held to say, hey, guys, let's get together. Here are all the rules so that you know what's going on. If anybody gets hurt, you do this. If there's a drunk jerk trying to do this, that, and the third, you do this. Oh, you go to this place if this person is doing something, right? If he's doing some illegal activity, you take this guy here so that he can be detained by police officers and taken away to jail. You see what I'm saying? All that stuff sounds like they didn't have any of that. Sounds like they didn't have any of these conversations at all. Oh, boy. Like I said, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Because here's the thing. As these stories come out and that were involved, that were at this concert, that were heavily traumatized by what happened, fearing for their right? The organization that put them together, trust me, they are going to sue them as well. Every single entity, every single thing that was involved with this festival, like a mug. It's so sad. Cam said, just please show the video with security woman. I do not know that one. If there's one with a security cam, with a security woman, please send it my way. That would be great. I'd really, really appreciate it. But lo and behold, this guy is coming out and saying, yeah, man, we ain't had no experience. None of these people, anybody could have had this job. Anybody. This was like a just show up and you get paid. Quick $200 maybe, 150, $200 to do. Candace Cullen, thank you so much for the Canadian $5 super chat. Many cardiac arrests, strange stories of possible injections, autopsies, and toxicology will be required. Absolutely. Because there are so many different stories that were going on. So many people were having so many different casualties. I mean, we just heard about this young man, this young boy, Ezra Blunt, this morning. Blunt force trauma to the head. His organs have swelled up because he was trampled on. I mean, it is terrible, right? And this boy, he has not passed. He is just in a coma right now. But I mean, if you just thinking about that alone, imagine the laundry list of ailments and issues, not only the people that have died, but other people that were injured, probably suffered during this stampede. It's just mind-boggling to think of. Real talk. But oh boy. So, crazy stuff, y'all. Ooh, I don't know that. But so thank you so much for that. But yes, Cam, if you do have that link or something, please send it to me because this is the time. I'd love to check it out. Who has a link to the frequencies being played before the show? Ooh, that I don't know. That's a good question. That is a good question. But yes, if somebody has that link, excuse me. If somebody has the link to the security guard, the security woman, maybe I could find that real quick. Let me see. Let me see what I can do real quick. Left turn, guys. I don't have I do not have the the woman one. Oh wait, hold up. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's something different. But anyway, moving on. That is the crazy stuff, right? I mean, obviously, as we know now, more and more, this story is just nuck and futz, right? And I guess what up? Michael Trapson is in the house. I see some people excited by Michael Trapson being in the house. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Glad to see your presence in the show. Thank you so much for checking out the show. But anyway, I got to show this other video. What? There it is. Hold on. More security, just another version. Another piece.
My name is Darius. I was hired by CSC to work the AstroWorld Festival. I was hired a few days prior to the festival to work event staff. It was pretty vague exactly what the roles would be. The day before AstroWorld, I completed the orientation and the training for the process. And when I arrived on Friday morning around 7 a.m., they were still pretty vague, didn't really tell us what we would be doing. They just issued us our uniform, our jackets. You do have to take a state licensing exam for a level 2 security officer. However, the training for that was extremely brief. It was an open book test. The teacher, he was actually giving us the answers as we were going through the books ourselves and trying to hurry up and fill out the answers. This was the night before AstroWorld, and it was already approaching 11 p.m.
Random question, but hey, Michael Trapson, if you got time to jump on, if you down to talk about this a little bit, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'd love to send you, throw up a video chat link to you. If you got time to chop it up, by all means, I'd love to have you on. If you got a second, let me know. Comment.
We had been there for 3 or 4 hours. We were tired. We were hungry. After I checked in with CSC and as we walked the perimeter, I just knew that we were definitely understaffed in every sense of the word. There was probably one security guard from what I saw. I would say there was probably one security guard for every 500 to 1,000 people, severely understaffed. So I knew immediately that if 2 people decided to rush the gate, then it was over with. Well, after I initially mentioned my displeasure with working the front gates, the supervisor, he mentioned that there might be another position that I'd be interested in. And then he mentioned that it would still be a security type role, which I really didn't have any real training in. So I just decided it would be best to just leave and not work the festival altogether because I just had the feeling that I would be in unsafe conditions. The day of, I know that there were several other people that said that they wanted to walk out and leave. I didn't stick around and see if they actually left, but I'm sure there are several others that were very unhappy with the entire situation.
See what I'm saying? Like, and this is just another perspective. This is another person just saying this crazy stuff that's going down. No, nobody was prepared. They were understaffed. Dealing with this ish. Other side said something about he didn't have to even show any credentials. He just showed up. He signed his name on a piece of paper and that was it. So I'm sure he was probably going to get just paid cash. Yo, come through. You're going to do this, that, and the other. Bop, bop, bop. Here's some money. We're going to give you a couple shekels. You good to go. Deuces. I mean, that's what I think. Real talk. Not having any experience whatsoever. And yet you had 50,000 people in your hands. There are all those lives in your hands. So, like I said, this is just, it's absolutely nuts. And the fact that there's been more and more people, like I said, more and more stories about this whole thing. And it's just getting worse and worse as time goes on. We're only going to see how things go here as time continues, right? This rabbit hole is getting deeper and deeper, and it's just getting more and more unfortunate. Real talk, getting more and more unfortunate. So I do have a couple other things that I want to show you guys. Well, there's one big piece that I want you guys to see, and this is from somebody who was part of the medical staff. They're saying like the medical staff wasn't really a medical staff. We've seen countless stories on a couple shows before where they said the medical staff just didn't know what they were doing. There were moments when people were dealing with stuff, right? They were dealing with people passed out. They didn't know if they were like alive or not. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Jeez. See, this thing wants to, like, as soon as things start going, it starts to lose its mind. I'm back, guys. I'm back. It just started to lose its mind for no bloody reason. I freaking hate that stuff, man. Anyway, I'm back, though. I'm back. Okay? And Michael Trapson, if you got some time still, let me know, because I'd love to have you on. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole thing. So I'm still waiting to hear back from you as well. But here's the thing. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so there is a piece that I want to show you guys while we are still waiting for, hopefully we're getting Michael Trapson to hop on here. There is a piece here where there is a person that was part of the medical staff, right? He is a trained paramedic from what he says in this video. It's a TikTok video. It's a couple TikTok videos. And he talks about his firsthand experience being out there. Now, here's the thing. There were stories, like I just said a second ago, there were stories of people saying that There were medical staff that were saying that there were medical staff, but they still didn't even know how to check a pulse, didn't know how to do CPR, didn't know any of the fundamentals, right? Any of the basic fundamentals of being qualified to be part of this medical staff. Well, this guy has does a video and he begs to differ. So we have to look at this video because, like I said, it is. I think it's important that we see the other side of the story, right? The other perspective of this story. So let's take a look at this guy.
I was one of the EMTs that worked at the AstroWorld event. Quick disclaimer, I'm going to give absolutely no names, no company names, nothing like that, nothing to disclose or put anyone in jeopardy. Me and my partner, let's just say Medic 1, me and Medic 1 were stationed at the entrance of AstroWorld. About 30 minutes into Travis Scott's set, they called us saying, hey, we need backup by the stage. So me and Medic 1 arrive at the front of the crowd to Medic 2, Medic 3. They're like, hey, I have people, come with me. And so we walk through the VIP section down the middle of the crowd. As soon as we get past the VIP section and really shoulder to shoulder in the thick of the crowd, there was a couple people that kind of grabbed onto my shoulder and was like, hey, there's a girl passed out over here. So me and Medic 1 separate from Medic 2 and 3. They go on their call. We go on this new one. This girl's laying down. And me and Medic 1 are asked, what's going on? What's going on? And one of the people says that, oh, she's been down for 10 minutes. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm thinking, damn it, how has no one done anything? Just let her lie on the ground for 10 minutes. So I get down there, check her pulse and breathing, do my whole ABCs check. And she has no pulse, no breathing.
Real quick, Michael Trapson. What I'll do is I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it to the top. But this is only for Michael Trapson. Just a full-on heads up. This is only for Michael Trapson for right now. Okay, I will be opening it up to hear everybody else's opinions and all that as well. But I wanted to make sure that we get our guest Michael Trapson to hop on and chop it up on the show. Okay, this is only for Michael Trapson. So click the link above and then hop on, and then we'll chop it up, Michael Trapson. All right. So let me continue this really quick.
Which means she could have not been breathing with no pulse the whole 10 minutes. She's been sitting there for 10 minutes, probably no pulse, no breathing, no oxygen to her brain. I can't just throw her over my back and escort her out of the crowd because it was a 5-minute hike into this damn crowd. So I tell Medic 1, hey, I'm going to come back for you. I'm going to grab a crash bag. So I get out of the crowd and I grab my one crash bag, which was huge mistake. I had no clue what I was getting into. So on my hike back into the crowd with my crash bag, at the halfway point right here, I find another medic performing CPR. I get down. I'm like, hey, dude, where's your partner? What's going on? And he's like, I don't know, man. I just saw this person who's no pulse, no breathing. I just started CPR. I don't know how I'm going to get him out. In EMS, you have to complete your first call before you can assist on any other ones. And so I was like, okay, look, I'll come back for you too. I need to go to my original guy. So I head out. And then in the middle point between the midpoint and my end point right here, I find a third person performing one-man CPR on another man. And I get there. I'm like, hey, what's happening? Where's your partner? And they're like, they're taking care of another unconscious person. I need to do one-man CPR. I don't know how I'm getting this person out of here. So here I am presented with 3 different EMS personnel providing one-man CPR on 3 different patients, completely isolated from each other, no backboard, no way of getting out. And I'm just like, God damn it. I was one of the EMTs that worked at the AstroWorld event.
That is number 1. There's number 2 here too. He's got it's a 3-parter, but this is information. This is a guy that clearly is qualified to do the job. But what sucks is that they were understaffed. Clearly, they were understaffed. And he is overwhelmed, right? Over his head with people, with issues, with situations. Let me continue.
Heat of the moment, whatever, right? My thought process was, okay, I'm not getting these first two people out until I get my original person out, because that's the first person I ran into. So I gave person number 2, or CPR person number 2 right here, I gave him the crash bag. And I was thinking, you know what, person number 1 that I originally went to probably already done a couple cycles of CPR, and I'm just going to throw her on my back and get her the hell out of here. And to give y'all context, the radio wasn't working. The music was way too loud. I had called for backup and for help so many times, and it was just not going through. I tossed person number 2 the crash bag, and I get to person number 1 who was originally there. And thank goodness, like 5 cops were there. And they had brought a backboard with them, which thank God. They loaded her up onto the backboard, and we get her out of there. She's on her way with like 4 or 5 cops. My original partner, medic one's making sure she's okay. And so I'm like, okay, I got to take care of these other 2. I get to CPR number 2, who I dropped the crash bag off with. And the medic's still there, but a cop arrived with another backboard. So after they finished their round of CPR, I'm like, okay, look, being in this crowd is literally a life threat. That was apparent. Life over limb, she needs to get the hell out of here, just like everyone else who's passed out here. And just to say, along the way, I had so many people reach out to me, tug on my jacket, grab my shoulder, and was like, please help me. I broke my foot. Please help me. I dislocated my shoulder. Please help me. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I had to tell all of them, I will try to come back for you, but people are literally dead right now that I need to go help. So we get CPR number 2 loaded up onto a backboard. The cops were like, I got it. And I'm like, okay, thank God. Take him out. I can go to CPR number 3. I get to CPR number 3.
Can I just say something really quick? Can you imagine, like, this? It's almost like they're in a war zone. Like you're in like some crazy, you're in the shit, right? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you are just in work mode. You are in rescue mode. That's the word, right? You're out there trying to do everything you can to save people. And he's going from one CPR to the next. I mean, it's just, he's turning every which way, and he's got people all over the place that are just grabbing him and going, I need help, blah, blah, blah. Because why? Because they were understaffed. Now, I'll say this, though, too. Just in defense, right? Let's just play this side really quick, because there is this a piece, and I still have another video, part 3 on here too. But I just want to point this out real quick. Everybody who was sitting there saying that these medical staff were asking for them to check their pulse or to perform CPR. What if they were just sitting there going, I'm busy doing this person right now. Can you check their pulse for me, because I'm busy trying to save this other mother lover's life right now? That could be it too, where it's just severely overwhelming, where you're just trying to take care of one person while other people are falling like flies, dropping like flies, right? And you're going, hey, check his pulse while you're still trying to do compressions on one person. I mean, imagine the insanity of being within this, inside of 50,000 plus bodies. And these people are running over to you going, I broke my ankle, or I broke my foot, or my face, and I can't breathe. All these things, people just on the ground. As he's saying right here, he's turning one way, he does compressions, turns around, he's doing somebody else. I mean, it's insane. To me, this all comes around the fact that they were understaffed. Not only just underqualified, most of them probably, some of them were probably underqualified maybe, or some of them couldn't handle the pressure. So when they were thrown into the shit, they probably were like, oh my God, you see what I'm saying? That the anxiety, imagine that, y'all. Imagine, right? Let's continue. We got this half and then one more video, and then hopefully Michael Trapson will have time to chop it up.
And no one's touched this man. No one's helped this man. He needs a crash bag. So I sprint out of the crowd, grab another crash bag, bring it back. What do you know? Security with the backboard. I'm like, thank fuck, teamwork, right? And so as soon as I get third CPR kind of out the door, out of the way from the crowd, I tell them, look, 3 people dropped in the span of 10 minutes that only I could see. There was like over, 50,000 people here, and I witnessed 3, only me. There's got to be more. I told those medical personnel, look, I'm going to go in and find these people, do one-man CPR, do whatever needs to be done to make sure, provide the best amount of care possible, and get them the hell out of here. This was just the higher acuity patients. Me and Medic 1, my partner, probably dealt with 5 or 6 other lower acuity. And when I mean lower acuity, I mean not instantly dying, right? I'm talking about broken feet AMS, people who don't even know their name. They don't even know how to speak anymore. It was horrendous. Me and Medic 1 ran our asses off.
Last one. Whoops. What? Okay.
I'm like, and in the thick of this, I'm like, so many people are going down. So many people are getting injured. And my observations were that there was zero crowd etiquette at all. They just wanted to get closer to the show, closer to Travis Scott, and do their thing. They didn't give a single damn about anyone around them. It was an absolute shit show, and I promise you, a lot of these rumors going around where, EMS they weren't trained enough. They were understaffed. Every EMT in the field that I saw, they weren't new to the job, nor were they EMRs. Everyone in the med tent was the absolute A-team. In the medical tent, they had 2 doctors, a SWAT physician, a ton of SWAT medics, seasoned paramedics, and then basics. If you could draw an A-team from Houston that aren't doctors, they were there. It was just a situation where maybe just over 100 or 150 personnel was responsible for probably over 50,000 highly irresponsible people. Whose fault is it? My observations was the crowd. There were probably some, and you could probably see from the videos going around the internet, these people who are getting up on these towers, screaming at camera people, please stop the show. Those are the heroes. Those are the people who need to be applauded.
Agreed.
Because those are the people who actually gave a damn, saw that people were dying, and were like, hey, look, this concert doesn't mean shit. 8 people are dying. At the end of the day, we had 8 confirmed deaths so far, 11 confirmed cardiac arrests. What does that mean? That means 8 people confirmed dead on scene, and the other 3 are still being worked on in the hospital. They might be vegetables by this point. Just highly frustrating. Me and every single one of the medical personnel did our very best, and we're being slandered. We were presented with an impossible situation, and everyone was escorted to the hospital. Everyone was taken care of to the best of everyone's ability, and I know for damn sure whoever my hands touched, I did my absolute damnedest to provide the best care I could. It's just sad to know that when you bring over 50,000 self-centered people who only care about themselves into one place, this is what happens.
Here it is, guys. He obviously is saying his own perspective, obviously. And obviously he is a qualified medical personnel, right? To be out there to save people and do what they need to do, right? But there is a part of me that's going, okay, well, wait a second. That's only your perspective. There are other people that are saying stories, and, we obviously have to take it with a grain of salt, because these people could be telling the truth, or they could be fibbing. They could be capping like a mug. They could very well be doing that. But you can't deny that you aren't watching over every single other person that was hired as medical staff. Maybe the area that you were in, right? Maybe the tent that you were assigned to. Maybe that tent was filled with all kinds of very talented individuals, right? But when it comes to outside of that, you don't know every single person that was literally hired. You just don't know. So I do commend this dude, that gentleman, for speaking his mind and saying what he needed to say, because, yeah, like I said, it is terrifying what happened. It was insane. And it was also one of those things where you just didn't think that something like this was going to happen. So, of course, when it did go down, it's kind of like, oh my God, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. It's a terrifying experience. Real talk. So, Shelby Donner, thank you. Downer, sorry. Shelby Downer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She says, this is so heartbreaking and so frustrating all at the same time. Yes, all at the same damn time. This is absolutely a heart-wrenching and terrible story. And, of course, we're going to hear so many different sides of this. We're going to see both sides of the coin. Some people are going to sit there and say that the medical staff didn't do a damn thing. And some are going to sit there and say exactly what this gentleman said, right? That they did their damnedest. They worked their hardest to make something happen. They try to make to save lives and go into rescue mode. But it was so overwhelming. I can only imagine how overwhelming this experience was or is. You know what I mean? For any person, when you're just thrown into the fray, what are you going to do when you get thrown in the fray like that? What are you going to do? So I don't know if Michael Trapson got the link or not, but if he's still watching or whatnot, the link is up above. It was only for him, but I'm going to pull some other people up. I see somebody else who's on here. So the link is up. The link is open. So hop on. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole situation. The link is pinned to the top. Click on it, hop on, and let's chop it up. We have Sam K in the house. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm sorry. I'm suffering from that cold that's going around.
Oh, I feel you. I think it's right now, right? I think everybody's going through that. So what's on your mind? Speak on it.
So I just want to say that I don't think medical was incompetent because in that video that you see of the girl being dropped, that was police officers, not medics, that pulled her out.
Yes.
And in the first place, even if there was 50,000 people, and there was obviously way more than that, there still was not enough people in the staff, like medic, security, all that. So, but I hate how a bunch of people just keep saying, "Oh, conspiracy! It's a ritual," and it's like, okay, evil crap sells. It doesn't mean necessarily it's a ritual, but like that evil stuff, the imagery, it sells. It works. The mystery behind it gets you talking. It works. But after hearing like the EMT story and other stories, I do believe that there's unfortunately way more carnage than we know of.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that the story is going to expand more, and we're going to hear more and more pieces of information here as time goes on. But for right now, I mean, yeah, right now we're going to hear very polarizing sides of the story. We're going to hear some people are going to sit there and say the cops did what they needed to do, or the staff did terribly, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? We're gonna hear so many different things, and it's going to be insane. But Sam, can you hold tight for a little bit? I need to pull up Michael on here real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we got Michael Trapson in the house. What's up, Michael? Can you hear me? You just got to unmute your mic on the program. Can you hear me?
Oh, my bad, bro. Can you hear me? My bad, family.
Hey, What's up?
What's going on, bro? I just stumbled across this channel, man. I was like, oh man, this thing.
Oh yeah, I would mute the show in the background. That
My
might
bad.
work.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's ironic that the last person, last woman that came on here and said that she doesn't want to hear about all the ritual or the evil. But I think it's one of them cases where, like, it's all about the energy you conjure up. If you always place and I'm not saying that it was specifically a ritual for this particular incident, but I feel like, if you're constantly, putting out these subliminal images of like demonic, demonic entities, and you kind of just playing around in that world, you're going to get what you ask for.
Facts.
You feel me?
No, I mean, and that's exactly what I was. That you're basically echoing the exact same stuff I was saying earlier, which is like, you put out that kind of energy, you're putting out that type of vibe. You're basically saying, hey, let's get crazy. It's dystopia. See you on the other side. Fire and brimstone. All those kind of elements in the piece. You can't be surprised if somebody turns around and says, well, that's kind of crazy that you did all the demonic ish and people died in that piece. Is this a sacrifice? You can't be surprised if somebody's going to interpret it that way. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised. I don't think it was like that. I don't think it was that, but I can understand why it is being interpreted that way. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, it has all the signs, man, even down to the artwork. It's very, very similar to the what do you call it, the Christ in Limbo art piece. Have you ever heard of that?
Christ in Limbo art piece. Hold on.
The whole AstroWorld with the mouth open and all the people going inside the mouth of Travis Scott. It looks very, very similar to the this thing called Christ of Limbo, where it looks just like that. All these, so yeah, it's a lot of weird symbolism and imagery going on. Travis Scott, as much as he's a good artist, but he puts a lot of little Easter eggs and stuff like that in his music and his art. So it's interesting to see that this was basically what a manifestation, whether it was intentional or not. It was definitely a manifestation, about the soul, see you on the other side, like this. The whole thing was just very, very weird. So, spirit don't like that. You want to play around with some entities, they'll come for you in one way or another, and somebody gonna have to pay.
Right. So, tell me in your personal opinion, like as far as like being on stage and doing this kind of stuff. I mean, do you think? I've been asking a lot of performers and a lot of artists as well, their perspective on this whole thing. So, as far as him being on stage, those people were out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
should he be held accountable?
I feel like hell yeah, like I feel like everybody should be held accountable because we can't play stupid here. If you looking at somebody, you're seeing, it's a video going around where he's singing yeah. Well, but he did say, yo, okay, get him out of here, get the medics out, make some room. But like, I mean, at some point, like you gotta put the ego to the side, man. Just stop the music, like at all, like at least for like a good 30 minutes until we figured out everybody is cool, everybody is safe. We can't just wait 2 seconds, 2 minutes, and then start jumping back to rage mode, because the rage mode is what got everybody passing out and dying in the first place. Well, we can say that he didn't know they were dying, but we got people passing out, back to back, and the crowd is not happy. And obviously Travis Scott is a master performer, so he can tell when he's an energy. His whole thing is about energy, so he can read the energy of the crowd. And I found it very hard that he wasn't reading that the whole place wasn't as turned up as as it usually be, because people were kind of like, it was a mixed energy going on if you look at the videos.
No, I mean, it's definitely, you could definitely see something. Like you definitely see something going on. I interviewed a girl earlier today that was somebody who survived the stampede, and she was even saying herself, I mean, SZA was up on first, she was doing her thing, and then all of a sudden the energy changed as soon as it went from SZA to the countdown, and then the countdown was just getting everybody riled up, and then it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then everything just went bonkers, right? But she was like, there was a temperature in the temperature almost like changed in the room. You feel me? And so yeah, I mean, it's definitely a vibe. It's definitely an energy that he was putting out there for sure. It
was a portal, man. Like I ain't gonna lie, man. I watched some of them clips, I never personally been to a Travis Scott concert, but I was watching this the frequency he was talking about, the little notes they play, you know, and I'm like, it's eerie. It's like it's literally transcending you to another realm. Like, and I get it, but it's kind of scary, man. Like, you know, because you don't know, especially young kids, man, they don't understand, like, you know, like what you're opening yourself into, what you're opening your energy up into when you like tap into these frequencies, tap into these, you know, different music, because music is, you know, one of the most influential, you know, things on this planet. Like it gets people motivated, gets them hyped up, and they don't really know what they open their spirits up to. But I know I saw a lot of people complain about the music being played, even like at the entrance of the show, like these real low vibrational, like dark, you know, like kind of sound, kind of frequencies that's like, you know, it just a lot of people said they fell off even from that. And I'm like, it's just real eerie, man. It's real creepy. The whole situation is, to me, just creepy. It's eerie. It's, you know, it definitely has a lot of factors in it. You have the, you know, the technical factors, obviously, and everybody wants to blame somebody, but this is a collective situation, man. This is between Travis, the fans, the Live Nation. You know, there ain't just one person at fault. It's a combination of all energies combined that create this situation and this tragedy. And unfortunately, it resulted to some kids and, you know, some adults passing away.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, couldn't this been like a Marilyn Manson show? You know what I mean? Why gotta be Travis Scott? Like, why? You know what I mean? Damn, why?
Right.
Couldn't it be somebody else? Couldn't it have been like a death metal band, a Norwegian, you know, dark metal band or something like that, some Lamb of God or something like that? You know what I mean? Couldn't have been like a Metallica or something like that. I mean, they're not a dark metal band, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just metal, something else. Why it gotta be Travis Scott though?
Because I think most bands, they're more conscious. They don't want to get those lawsuits. So they see anything going weird, they like, okay, no, pick them up, make sure they're good. We don't want to have no casualty, because if anybody is getting hurt, that's on us.
Yeah.
So, but it seemed like Travis, I don't know, and I'm saying, I ain't want to say he just didn't care, but I don't know if he just wasn't there. I don't know if the music kind of possessed him, that he was in a whole different plane. I don't know. It could have been a lot of things. We can't. I mean, I don't want to say it was all his fault, but it was partially his fault, you know, for not doing something sooner, you know, because I mean, we all speculating. I mean, we can't judge another person, you know, by what we see, but we can. It's just like I said, you get what you ask for, man. You you put that energy out there, dog. You got that shit. So I'm not speaking language or anything, but you put that energy out there, you get that in return.
No doubt. Hold on one second, man. I'm gonna ask a few people on. You cool with sticking around for a little bit?
Yeah. I'll be around, man.
I appreciate it. And thanks for stumbling on my show. I appreciate it.
You already know, man.
Welcome to the Pascal show and all this craziness. Anyway, let me grab a couple of people. We had Sam on. We have Melise 3000 or 300. I'm sorry, 300, not 3000. Just drop the zero. Melise, I heard Sam, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on everything that we just covered tonight?
So it's mostly, I think, kind of an indictment on Texas, because I'm from Houston. So I know they're a big church area. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I know they have huge churches there. And that's the one thing I was thinking about, like, if it is spiritual warfare, that the churches kind of like are not doing their jobs.
Interesting. The churches aren't doing their jobs. What do you mean exactly? How are they not doing their jobs?
Well, the churches in Texas, they're huge. They're like stadium size. So they have they're real big on like praise and worship and like keeping the spirit of the city, which I felt like a peaceful vibe in Houston because we had those churches, and just because the festival was able to succeed, I think the churches weren't doing their jobs there.
Interesting. Okay. So you mean like Joel Osteen it ain't doing enough?
Yeah. And
his mega church ain't doing enough.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. Michael, what do you think of that? What do you think?
I'm not too familiar with the church scene, but I mean, if anybody has the most powerful say so right now, I think it would be them, because they're playing in that realm of like, you know, spiritual warfare. And I don't know what's his name. You said Joel Epstein. That's his name. Yeah.
Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen. Yeah, I know he was a little sus back when the hurricanes happened. I know that he was acting very. I saw that. I was okay. You got everybody on board when for your cause, but then when something happens, you was acting a little hesitant. But it just seemed a little weird.
Talk about greed.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying, talk about that greed, man.
And that's the scary part of religion. That's why a lot of people don't. They're a little indecisive. Well, should I join religion? Should I not? Because there's a lot of schemes in the religion, and that's a whole other conversation. But there's a lot of people that's not in it for what they claim to be in it for is all some type of ulterior motive. But
no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I don't think that the churches were thinking, maybe they weren't, maybe they don't have that kind of say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or kind of push or pull or whatever. When it comes to an artist coming in, it's kind of like, okay, it's bringing money into our city. It's bringing jobs, even if it is temporary. It is still jobs for people that are looking for jobs here in the city. It's one of the biggest festivals that they have down there. 50,000 people, so on and so forth. So maybe they're not putting two and two together, or maybe they weren't even keeping a close tab on Travis Scott like that. I wasn't.
No, Yeah, I didn't actually mean that. Especially around Halloween time, because I grew up in churches in Texas, so I kind of have that spirit that I carry with me. So I've been protected from going into a lot of different places that might be harmful to me. And the fact that the festival was allowed to succeed in Houston, that just shows me that the churches are not doing their job.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Sam, what do you think on this? I'm going to pull up a couple other people here. What do you think on this, Sam K? I guess we do not have her anymore. Let me bring up Honest Me. Hello.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. How you doing? Where you calling in from?
I'm from Detroit.
Detroit. Yes.
Love your show.
Thank you. Well, I love you. So I appreciate you loving the show. So what are your thoughts on all that we've covered so far? Speak on it.
Yeah, so and I have the sniffles, so excuse me, but there's really 4 points that I wanted to hit on. The first is the fact that this was being streamed by Apple Music, and the role that I think that played. I heard people say that they were barricaded in, and so they couldn't move. So that when the crowd surged forward, they couldn't get out. And then a lot of the people that were there said that when they asked to get pulled out, they were told you can't come out unless you're fainting or you fall out. I don't know if you guys heard that, but some of the people that were there said that when they said, help me out, the security said, okay, well, we can't take you out unless you're fainting or something like that. So in my mind, I thought, okay, well, perhaps he didn't stop the show. He pretty much put money over man. He didn't stop the show, and he let that kind of chaos go on just for show because it was being streamed through Apple Music. So it's you want the biggest crowd possible at the front so it's seen. You want everyone going crazy. You don't want anyone getting out and walking away while you're filming. You only want the optics to be people are fainting over me and everyone's just going crazy and it's this intense thing. And then in terms of stopping the show, it's I could stop this show while I'm streaming worldwide, or I could just kind of ho hum it through. And I mean, and this is not to excuse what he did, because you should put man over money every time. So regardless to who's watching you or how large the broadcast is, everything should have stopped. But in my mind, I'm thinking perhaps that played a part into why security reacted the way they did, and the reason why he was just the show must go on, because there's this big pressure of Apple Music streaming this show. The other part to that too is I've heard people kind of criticizing the parents for taking their kids, and I felt the same way initially, but then I thought, I've never been to an AstroWorld Fest. I wouldn't go. That's not my thing. But to my understanding, it's also like a carnival. So I'm thinking, well, perhaps parents, just figured like, yeah, it's a carnival. I'm gonna take my kid to the carnival and we'll hang out and listen to music. I mean, it's so easy to just say like, you should never bring your kid, but it's easy to get duped into doing stuff like that when on the outside it appears innocent, and then when you get in there, it's this monstrous thing that turns into something so completely different.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to mention, the other two things were the fans and Travis Scott himself. Like, people are like, yeah, stop with the evil stuff, stop with the satanic stuff. And I heard someone in the chat said, so it's not Marilyn Manson or Nine Inch Nails, it's just Travis Scott. No, it's absolutely all of that. So if you think about, this guy thrives off of aggression and the crowd just being aggressive and angry. And you have fans who want that. Like, you want to go in somewhere. I've heard people give their accounts and say they go to these types of concerts because they like being like punched and elbowed. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with you? The reason why this is your form of enjoyment. And you
Right.
have to ask yourself, why does this man thrive off of having a career where he's just encouraging people to be aggressive and angry like that? And why are you a fan of that? Because I guarantee if you hung out with someone in your day to day who was just constantly, whenever the friends got around, he was just like constantly trying to get people to just get aggressive and just, if someone in your group had that type of energy, you would distance yourself from that person almost immediately. Like, I can't deal with it.
Yeah,
But
with the quickness, absolutely. And I'm seeing the dots that you're connecting. You know what I mean? Somebody just said that. Somebody connecting the dots, and I see where you're saying. And it is. I mean, all of this is just wild, and how it all transpired does have those moments of things that make you go, You know what I mean? These are definitely moments where you're like, okay, everything is kind of connected in some weird, messed up way. Could it be a coincidence? Maybe. Could very well be a happy accident, or it could honestly be what he was trying to do. We don't entirely know. Like I said earlier in the very beginning of the show, he'd been known that the place was out of hand, that the crowd was already getting lit. The crowd was already raging like crazy, right? And he had no problem with it. He knew about it. The cop said, hey, guys, this is getting a little crazy. Before you get on stage, I'm just letting you know about this. And he continued to do the show regardless of that fact. And that says a lot about what that adds a huge piece to the puzzle.
You're very correct. If I could say something, this is Benny Chain. I appreciate you bringing me on, brother.
No
I
problem.
appreciate everybody on the panel and their aspects. The very first thing I want to say is, did anybody that night, which I'm pretty sure nobody did, but I'm glad I got a glimpse of it, look up in the sky and notice the North Star and the moon, how they was. Nobody's gonna, and what I would suggest to everybody in the chat is plenty of people on YouTube that same night they record shit like this. You got these, moon, star, sun folk that just record this. Look up that particular night and look how the moon was, and look how it was angled at the North Star. So that's my first point. That's my first point, and I want everybody to look it up. Just don't go off me. Don't call me a conspiracy theorist and all of that. I want you to visually see how the moon was looking that night, the quarter moon, how it was cocked to the North Star that particular night. That's my first point.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So you're saying like you're saying like the atmosphere added to the vibrations, or the energies were coming from the moon, the star, all that, the North Star, and all that.
That's about a good 15, 17, 18%, because I noticed it. And I didn't even know, I forgot about him having a concert that night. And then when I got home and then I heard all of the news, I'm like, well, dang. But I don't want that to be the main piece of it. I do want people to look that up so they can see it for themselves. On top of that, I listened to your boy Whack 100, and he said some profound stuff as far as the contract that Travis signed with Live Nation, and as far as from his knowledge of when you're doing a large concert like that, why you got to keep going, because you're under contract for that.
Right. And you got to
It's a
keep
situ-
and you got to
Go
keep
ahead,
up. You gotta hold up your end of the contract. If it's
exactly so.
because it's a thing of, if you don't do it, then you could be liable to get sued for not actually performing the entire piece, performing your entire signed contract piece. But that's the thing, though. Unless there's not some sort of clause in there, which there should be, because if anything does happen, like people dying, that should be grounds for a reason to stop a show, without a shadow of a doubt. That should literally you could still walk away with your bag. You could still secure the bag within that clause, because that doesn't make any sense. You're just going to play while people, while there's bloodshed, like, I know that's a little extreme, but while people are dying out here outside right there in front of you,
or passing out, or passing out. But boom, I'm glad you said that piece, because you said that the sheriff or the police or what have you told Travis Scott that there was gonna. How come they didn't stop it when they got the call? When they had the scene of, hold on, this is out of whack. And NWA then got stopped back in the day, like, bruh, we told y'all not to boop bop bop. I can name plenty of artists where folk like, hold on, we talked to y'all previously and you still did that. The concert's over. Did that happen with Travis? No.
Not at all.
If I could interject, how's everybody doing tonight?
Man, but Greg, give me 1 second, okay? Real quick, I have to do this shameless plug. Everybody who's watching the show right now, please do me a favor. I see over 1,200 souls watching the show on all platforms right now. So please, guys, go hit that like button down below. Send those likes past 800 likes. That would mean the world to me. And of course, if you haven't done it yet, please do this as well. If you've just found this show for the first time, please go hit that subscribe button. Also, follow me on Twitter, The Pascal Show, one word. And also follow me on Instagram, please. All right, The Pascal Show, one word as well. Greg, we got Greg in the house. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, sir. How's everybody doing tonight?
Man, we chilling. What were we gonna say? Real quick.
Everybody brought up a lot of good points tonight, and I think I might have the answer for all of these. The gentleman Michael had said something about the energy and how it felt. The young lady was asking about why the gates were closed. And the last gentleman, he had brought in some points about why the police or why Travis Scott couldn't stop. From what I'm seeing in my research, if you look at that portal, that looks remarkably like a LHC. I'm not sure if anybody on the panel is familiar with that, but I would suggest everybody go and Google CERN. It's in Switzerland. It's one of the biggest scientific experiments that's ever been created.
LHC?
The Large Hadron Collider. It's called CERN for short. Now, one thing I noticed, if you look at that stage, and I'm not really into a lot of the conspiracy stuff, but just I'm very observant. That stage was set like a Mason sign. You had the eyeball, you had the pyramid. But if you look at the Grand Mason sign, it also has an angle going down. So I'm saying to myself, where's the angle going down? The angle was the floor, where the crowd was at. It was angled down towards the stage. So when those people started getting boxed in and pushing from the back, everybody collapsed down into each other. They wanted everybody in front of that portal. From my opinion, is that this was a test. And they needed everybody right in front of that portal. A lot of people said that it was cold that day in Texas. But when they were at the show and the show started, it was a lot of heat. And what Mr. Trapson was saying about the frequencies, if you see some of the witnesses, they said there were strange frequencies and noises going off the entire day. If you listen to some of the stuff Travis was saying, which I'm not sure if he knew what exactly was going on, because we got to also remember there's big people that spend billions of dollars on these concerts. He's just the artist. He's out there to perform. But I believe, and this is just my personal belief, that what we witnessed was a LHC being used on that entire crowd. Now, I know that's going to sound crazy to people, but I just ask everyone to go look up what an LHC is, go look up what CERN is, and see how remarkably that looks just like that portal that was sitting behind him. And I think
CERN portal?
a CERN is CERN. It's in Switzerland.
Now the gentleman is correct though, because I actually looked up and what I, and everybody's throwing it. This is such a great time, and it's not a great time for young kids and people to die, but it is a great time for folk to start putting that conspiracy word. Folk don't even know when that word got created. They'll think that was in the Webster dictionary forever, and it really wasn't. Yeah, it was a certain government that actually made that word up. People don't even understand this. They literally made that word up about 20. Look that up also, people. If you don't got a pad or a pencil, just scribble that down when the word conspiracy was literally made up. That word is not no old long word. That word is not in the Webster dictionary for it's. So look, back on what he was saying with CERN, because I even got to looking up the CERN stuff, and somebody was saying that they cut CERN on in September 21st, and I couldn't find no information on that. But what
They
I
did.
will say,
If I could just interject, they did turn on CERN.
Go ahead.
And what happened with CERN when they turned it on? They did not have enough power, and it shut down. Now, if any of the folks here are science buffs, they've heard of something called the God particle or the Higgins. Yes. I think it's called the Higgins particle. That was founded at CERN, and CERN has a lot of creepy rituals dealing with them. One more thing I like to point out with CERN. CERN, in front of CERN, they have a statue of Shiva. And on that statue is Shiva dancing, because Shiva is known to dance when he turns into Kali. Shiva is dancing in front of that portal. And if you look at that statue in front of CERN, he is stepping on the demonic child. I find a lot of symbolism in that as well. Also with the burning dove and the sacrifice and all that stuff. Again, I don't know if Travis Scott personally knew what was going on beyond just performing, but I'm finding way too many coincidences in that. If you look at that ground angles right down. So those kids, soon as they started jumping, and also it was covered with dirt. So when they step on there, it feels like everything's level. But as the night goes and everybody's jumping on that will sink, creating a bowl effect. And that's why you see the people flowing like water all around. They wanted those kids in front of that portal. And the reason why I don't think Travis Scott knew everything, because I think he would be really silly to be standing in front of that when that thing was going off. It's almost like a giant speaker, but it's blasting so much low frequency. And another thing, the scientists at CERN, the scientists say that machine can open portals to a different dimension. Look at the theme of that entire show.
See you on the other side.
Yeah,
see you on the other side. Now, hold on. Real quick, I do have somebody else who's been sitting here waiting patiently. Andrea is with us. Andrea, hello.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, guys. So I just want to talk about the Kylie portion of this all. I don't know. You had mentioned it earlier when I was watching one of your podcasts, your shows. You were talking about how she put up a story with the ambulance and talked about Stormy and all of that. I believe that they knew. Everybody knew. He said it before. He has a history of this. And she's going to back up her man. The Kylie Jenner, the Kardashian name holds a lot of weight. So if anything, they're going to try to get in front of it and not take any accountability. I believe personally, Travis knew something was going to go on because his people came on the stage and was trying to tell him something. And he was like, nah, fuck that. Excuse my language, but that's basically what he said. And he stood over the crowd. Like, how can you not see anything happening when you stood over on a pedestal, basically? Like, they're praising God that this man is, Jesus or something. And you can't see people passing out. One man at his previous show jumped off a balcony to prove a point.
True.
So what makes you think like he didn't know that anything like that was going to happen? And the fact that kids were there and lives were lost. It's just really sad that they can't take any accountability, and the apology seemed fake. It didn't seem like he meant it at all, and it seemed very rehearsed, in my opinion. Like his team was like, we have to put something out, otherwise it's gonna look like you didn't care at all.
You know, it's interesting to think that if like there are parts where he literally is like humming to a dead body that's getting carried off, which we've, obviously is an infamous clip, infamous video that we've seen countless times. So to think that, I mean, obviously, like I said, it is not a far-fetched idea to think that maybe somebody, that he could have been involved in some weird ritualistic thing. Darktron69 is here with us as well. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? Long time no see.
Long time, man. Man, living. I'm alive and I'm kicking, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, man? Speak on it.
So, for 10 years, I work at festivals in Ontario, and when I look at the layout at the festival that just happened, it was poorly designed. It had no way for people to leave the area or get help. Like you said, when I looked at multiple videos, it's definitely understaffed. They didn't have proper barriers and security people at the front door to resolve this issue, and it was really bad from the get-go. It was sad for those people that got injured. Like, how many people? 300 people got injured and 8 dead. That's crazy.
8 dead and probably counting as well.
It was poorly designed, and all it is just money in the bank for them. They just do not care.
Yeah.
So when you say poorly designed, do you realize the stage that he walked upon was an upside down cross?
I was just about to mention that.
Yes.
It was a cross going into the pit of hell, realistically.
That is very, very
and
true.
Also look at the stage setup. It was perfectly set up. Even the outline of the mountains was the compass, I mean, I don't know if it's masonry or whatever is going on, but it was designed like the Grand Mason sign.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to say, if you pull up the AstroWorld album cover, it just looks even more eerie now after everything that happened.
I have looked at it before.
It's creepy now. Did you see like the kids and people walking into the pit of it? It just almost looked like it just symbolized everything that just happened at the show.
Now, if I may, if we knew that he has history of this in the past, if they knew that this was going to be a thing, why put somebody who is going to incite a riot, incite danger, potentially, what happened, lives were lost? Why even put his name on the flyer to begin with? Why even let him conduct the show?
Because he has a big influence. The Fortnite thing, that's going to get your kids out there. Everybody's on the parents about bringing their kids. That was promoted to children through Fortnite.
I just think in a sense of, as of the music industry, you would think that it wouldn't be a smart move to begin with, because he's just basically making everybody look bad at this point.
Maybe it's because they wanted something bigger than just a music. Maybe this was bigger than just that. I really truly believe that what we all witnessed was something so demonic and so over the top. I can't even believe they did it as well. We see all the little
I don't disagree
signs.
with you on that. I don't disagree with anybody that says it was demonic and it was, Satan, because I truly believe that. He knew, he put up tweets about it. He told everybody, let's, cause a riot. Let's, get rowdy or whatever. He knew what he wanted to do, and he was successful at that.
That picture you have on the side, the right, that looks exactly like the LAC. Looks exactly like it.
I think if I could just say one quick thing here, and then I'm going to hop off, but
Sure.
I'm enjoying the conversation. I definitely think that this was clear. It's blatantly demonic. Like, if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it.
Mm.
And unfortunately, we have a lot of people who just don't want to see it. And, you know, That's a choice that they're consciously making. But you know, I feel like this also just brings attention to the state of people, period. Like the 9-year-old who fell off of his dad's shoulders and was trampled, I know people around him saw that he was a kid, saw him fall and continued to run. Don't get me wrong, this has happened before. Like this happened with the Michael Jackson concert, like back in the 90s. 23 people were killed due to like crowd surge, right?
Oh,
So
Michael Jackson concert.
it's not like unheard of for people to get trampled over, but the not stopping, even though may have been because it was being streamed, but you have to make the conscious decision to be humane. It wasn't there. And then because this is the kind of person he is as an artist, his fans are the same way. They're just inhumane, just running, trampling over people, over kids, not taking into consideration people around them. Um, I honestly feel like if you went to the concert and you can be traced to a ticket, you should be banned from all future concerts. That's just the way I feel. I know people are like, that's so super extreme, but like seriously, you in the crowd, you trampled people and you killed people. You gave no consideration. If your name can be traced to that AstroWorld concert, you should be banned from all concerts. And I'm mic dropping and I'm out.
Thank you. Honestly, I do appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thanks for having me. Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Michael.
I was gonna say like 23. That was a rumor. I'm looking it up because I'm like, hold on, I'm Michael Traps.
Right.
I'm a big
I was gonna say you Michael Traps it. So
I would know that.
Is that true though?
That ain't never happened, man. I'm looking at people saying that they try to throw that out there, but they saying that's all BS.
That's not true. Okay, well, I mean, thank God you were able to debunk that. Thank God we had you on to debunk that. But we have Rush Ribbons in the house. How you doing? Where you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Nashville. I was listening to your show, and this is a really good discussion. And I just wanted to just kind of add my 2 cents on it if I could.
Throwing that 2-piece.
All right. So, you know what? I know a lot of people were talking about just the demonic element of it. And like, you guys are so spot on with that. This is so evil. It's so demonic. I think a lot of people just overall aren't even in tune to just all of the evil elements that are going on around them in the music, just in society and the world, everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think that a lot of people just aren't really focused in on that. But we see like just with this one event, this whole AstroWorld festival, just how evil it was. Everyone is talking about how the stage was designed and how this was, and like this portal and everything. And none of this is by accident. When you are putting on a huge festival, and I'm sure your audience knows this, there's so much planning that goes into it. Like every single step, every single thing, there are teams of people that come up with all of these different elements, and none of this is by accident. How many times do you hear about festivals and concerts that go on, and this never happens anywhere else because they've kind of mapped it out and gotten it down to a science, and I study science. They've gotten it down to a science to where none of these things are supposed to happen, but yet this did. And when you play around with Satan, when you play around with the devil, let me tell you, he is not a toy. The devil is very real. And when you start playing around with all of that dark thing, all of these dark things, and you're repeating these evil lyrics, you can manifest a lot of things that you really have no idea what you're dealing with.
Can I say something to that?
Absolute. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, if that was the case, SZA's performance would have gone the same way. If that was the case, the whole festival there would have been more deaths, there would have been more tragedies. I do believe that it was Satan. I don't disagree. But people were saying that the vibe switched as soon as Travis Scott came on. So I believe it's.
You also got to remember the type of vibe that he brings
right
onto the stage. SZA is not that type of artist as well. Like it could have been Drake performing before Travis Scott, and it wouldn't have been the same vibe. So it was a vibration and it was an energy that he brought onto the stage that he's been implementing into his shows for years, 7+ years so far. You see what I'm saying? So,
right.
So if even with SZA, it wouldn't have happened, because I had an interview with this young woman by the name of Liliana Lopez. She was on earlier today. I pulled that interview out. Go check it out. She even talked about how the energy changed, that how she was in her feelings and getting emotional and crying with SZA when SZA was performing. But then as soon as Travis Scott got on that stage, the energy completely it just erupted. The room erupted. So nothing would have happened with SZA, even if it was that kind of vibe all day. She was making people get in their feelings and putting on a really great performance. You know what I mean? In a totally different type of performance.
And
So,
also keep this in mind, that no one else performed in front of that circle. They supercharged those vibrations and blasted. It's like you play some R. Kelly. You have a young lady or a young man, it starts the mood. Excuse me, I didn't mean to bring up R. Kelly, but we know his music. You put on the rock bands and people thrash and do mosh pits. But I believe they took his frequency, because Travis already records in a very dark frequency. You took that and you amplified it with a scientific method. And I still believe the key goes back to whatever that was behind him. It was blasting the lights out of it. It was blasting sounds out of it. They even had an eyeball looking around the crowd, which was the craziest thing ever. But if you amplify what the artist is doing, and his music is rage, and you blast that on the crowd, who would look at a 9-year-old at any concert and see a 9-year-old on the ground and start stomping on them? That makes no sense to me. I don't think crowds, as much lit as they were, everybody just said, oh, we're just going to stomp on everybody. I believe it was some wicked magic done with frequencies. Like I said, I don't want to put the blame on anybody, because you can make Travis Scott sign a contract. He don't know the science behind it. But there's people up, and I would look at Live Nation and the higher ups up there. Like I said, it's just my opinion, but there's something really eerie. And if you look up CERN and you look at that LHC, it looks just like that thing in the back. And I really believe that they blasted that on people. And scientists, even the one that died, the one that was in the wheelchair, Hawkins, he even said CERN was one of the most terrifying things that they had created. And he was fearing.
But Greg, you can never deny free will. You can never deny a person's free will. So what you are basically hypothesizing here right now, Greg, is that these people were put into a trance and therefore they did all this crazy stuff. I tend to lean on I don't entirely agree with you on that, because I do think that, yes, with all the energies and all the different things, the crazy cornucopia things that were going on. I mean, it was a jambalaya of craziness, right? A jambalaya of different kinds of energies going on in the same space, and it was almost like the perfect storm, the perfect trifecta of shit hitting the fan. You got a lot of self-absorbed kids that are either high and drunk or selfish and entitled, all in the same space, wanting to be as close as they can to a stage, acting a damn fool. So I feel like there is a perfect storm going on here than it just only being because of the energies, and therefore there's a trance, and all of a sudden these guys got pulled in.
You're 100% right on that.
I had somebody on the show today who was literally going, I felt like I just felt something wrong and I wanted to leave. Like, I wanted to leave. Free will. She wanted to get the hell out. Here's the thing. Free will. Everybody wanted to get as close to that stage as they could. But oops, there was an oops moment. They were like, oh, shit. And everybody started falling on each other. Next thing you know, they're going, we want to get the hell out of here too. All of them. You see what I'm saying? All the people that were trampled on and all that stuff, there were very bad choices that happened at that time. But I can't look at this and say that because of the low frequencies and the sun and the moon and the, you know, Mercury is in retrograde, that suddenly all of a sudden there's a trance that's pulling everybody together and virgins are getting sacrificed. It's a little hard to fully wrap my mind around.
Well, I'm not saying that. You're 100% right. The mixture of the drugs, everything, that's almost at all concerts. But then when you do that and you slant the ground, so you pull in everybody close, and then you have a little cherry on top.
Right.
And you blasting this rage music. That was the straw that broke the camel back, because those kids went crazy.
Yes.
You set the stage when you put when you had all these things, these factors in. You basically set the grounds for where things like that to happen. Did you guys see Kanye West on Drink Champions recently?
Yeah.
Yo, so I found that, you know, I think because Travis Scott is signed, he's signed to Kanye, right? Am I mistaken? But that was like his artist or something like that. But he mentioned,
That's true.
he mentioned right before this concert happened, Kanye West is going viral for that interview. And he mentioned specifically about the lower vibration of the 808s and how that can like throw off your frequency, because, you know, African people, we used to have more high vibrational frequency sounds in our music before the 808s came. You know, it's funny coming from him. He has 808s and heartbreaks, but, you know, he was talking about how that can throw us off. And I kind of felt like that was almost like a sign, like a preparation, like a warning was about to happen. And then ironically, this whole frequency thing happens with the show. I think that same or the next day. I thought that was really weird how that happened too.
Did you see the Sunday service the next day? Did you see the Sunday service the next day?
No, I didn't see that.
Look up his Sunday service right after he dedicated to the Travis Scott. That was eerie. And right before that, he comes on Drink Champs.
Right. Interesting.
It's like it's so close, almost like, because he came out of nowhere with that interview. It was like, okay, Kanye West talking about stuff that like nobody even thinking about, and then this happens, and they're all kind of connected in a way. I don't know if it was a distraction or it was a warning, but it was just kind of, it's really weird, man.
That's a really good
series. Go ahead, Rush.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's a really good point. And to piggyback on what you were saying and what Greg was saying, I would say that it would actually be a combination of both. It would be just everything, all of the variables that created that environment. I don't think that you can just isolate one thing versus the other. With what Greg was saying, I do believe music entices people. Like, even if you think about, like, when you go to the gym and when you're working out, you're not listening to soft lullabies. You're not listening to classical music. No, you're listening to something with a hard beat to get you really going, you know, to give you some motivation. Same thing if you were to go to church. You're not listening to, you know, music that has like 808s. No, you're listening to something that, you know, will connect you with the spirit. So, like, music does have different sorts of elements in it that can put you in a state of mind and that can, like, really influence you in a way, especially if, you know, if the music has particular types of lyrics. And what I was trying to get at earlier is that people, they'll find themselves, and I've been guilty of it too. I'm not really that familiar with a lot of like the rap music that's out now. I can't listen to that because I feel like it really just disturbs my spirit. Like I can't listen to it. It's so poisonous. And to me, it's all mumbling, and I can't deal with that. It sounds too demonic. But with all of these lyrics and things, people have to be careful with what they're reciting. You could be reciting some demonic stuff, and you just think that you're just trying to get a good workout at the gym, or you're just driving down the street. But here you are, you're getting pulled into it, and you don't even realize it. It has affected you in a way, but it's also a disconnect because you're not aware of what it is that you're engaging in. And back on what the 9-year-old boy that got trampled, and now he's suing, as he should, because under no circumstances should children be getting trampled in any sort of event. Like I said, all of these things are planned out to the nines. They're planned out to the teeth. Like, there are teams and there are all sorts of people that it's their designated job to ensure safety of everybody that comes to any sort of event. This is not happenstance. These sorts of things do not happen randomly because they've already perfected these sorts of concerts and these sorts of events. So I think it's terrible. What I would tell anyone is, y'all better get close to God, because listen, with all this crazy stuff that's jumping off, it's too much. It's really too much.
A lot of things are starting to jump off. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong on that. You ain't wrong on that at all. And that's a really good point. We have Goku in the house. Hello, Goku. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I've been to a lot of concerts, not just one type of music, but I've been to rap concerts and rock concerts, festivals, and I've crowd surfed, done mosh pits, wall of deaths, and every time someone falls or around anybody or I that I've fallen. My first concert, I was 16, I believe, and I fell while I was crowd surfing. I fell like to the ground because I guess nobody else caught me or whatever. And as soon as I fell, I remember everybody around me started like picking me up, and it was pretty crowded too. But I think it just a lot of the fan base is very young and naive, and maybe they just don't care.
I think that as well. I think that it's an energy that has been a part of his clan, of his following for a very, very long time. I think this is something that's been instilled in the people that follow him, and it just came to a head in this particular one. Also, you also got to remember, and I've said it before earlier in the show, you got people out here that have been pent up, that have been holed up for the past 2 years because they've been dodging this Rona, trying to survive during this pandemic, haven't been able to get a chance to really party their faces off, or just, they haven't raged like they did at the last Astrofest that was in 2019. So it's all this pent up, like, okay, it's time to go ham sandwich now. It's finally time to go ham sandwich. We can really go do our thing because he's finally doing a festival. So we're going to go and we are going to get blasted this entire weekend. Let's go. Right. And I feel like that's what kind of happened, right? But Goku, I appreciate that comment. Radical truth to power. What's up?
Hey bro, I'm gonna my bad. I was gonna say, I appreciate. I'm gonna hop off this joint, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm gonna still listen to this joint though too.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Let's get in touch sometime. Let's love to have you back on, man. Real talk,
sure, man.
All right, man. Peace. Radical truth to power. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? I have to say that I did 3 separate shows on this topic, and I had to come to a stop because it was really just, the more I researched it, the more it just going down a rabbit hole, so to speak.
Gotcha.
The demonic and the evil thing, I don't know about the demonic. If you believe in it, fine. That's you. Evil, yeah. I definitely believe there's some evil stuff going on. We had a video of the 2 gentlemen who were there at the concert, and I tried to put it in a timeline, so I started with them, and they were saying that the people that was coming through wasn't even stopping at the gate to get the COVID check, the temperature check, whatever. They was rushing through for that. That should have been your first sign that something was finna happen.
Right.
Something was not right. But we could go through the rest of the timeline of people getting stoned, people rushing through the gates and everything else. Ladies and gentlemen, we had somebody running around with a syringe of whatever, sticking people in the neck and having them pass out. That is evil. That period is evil. I don't know the timeline of when this occurred, when people was being crushed up against the gate or whatever, but before, after, during, whatever, that's evil. That is pure, that is something wrong in your head that you thought this was the appropriate time to go around sticking needles in people's necks with whatever it was that having them pass out to be revived. Number 2, if I am listening to the chief of police in Houston, with the number of cops that was there and the number of security that was reported to be there, there was over 1,300.
See, that's the weird part. Sorry, real quick, Radical Truth. That's the one piece that I'm confused about too, because I'm hearing different stories. Well, that there was only a staff like within all of them together was about 500 and something. So people are saying that it's 500 and then another 700. But I really, it's so confusing. I have not gotten a confirmed number as of yet.
Well, this is what he said, and I can't give you the exact number, but he was saying he came back the day before and said there was 300. He came back the next day and said, well, there was 300 plus 500 because we kept some of the people overtime or whatever. So there's your 500 and semi people. Then he said he got a number from the venue that said there were 700 of them.
Right.
So that's a total of 1,300.
Yeah, something like that.
If you can say it, fine. My question would be, one, is you telling the truth? And two, it's one thing to have security, is another thing to have competent security. When you show the video, and I show the video as well, of people who were bum rushing the gate, just running through. There's a time lapse of hundreds run through, you catch one. Hundreds run through, you catch two. I don't know what the guy was doing, because the security that you got, one guy was just bumping people with his shoulder. I don't know what that was stopping. There was a young lady sitting on the side, and all she was doing was tripping people. I don't know what that was doing. Two cops, I do think there was cops, came in on horseback. They was not stopping anybody.
Yeah, we saw that, and I was just like, what are they doing? What are they going to do?
To say that you had 1,300, great, wonderful. Were they competent enough to stop what happened? And obviously we got the answer, no, you wasn't.
Yeah, the fact that security alone was just lackluster at best says a lot to begin with, and it says a lot how either they wanted this kind of chaos to happen, or they just wanted to cut corners and save money, and they were just kind of like, anybody that wants to just make a quick buck for the weekend, you can get cold hard cash. We're going to pay you under the table in cash, certain a couple $100 for the two days of work. You just got to sit here and basically babysit 50,000 people. What bad is going to happen? What's going to happen? What's the worst that could happen, right? And then next thing you know, it hits the fan. You know what I mean?
And to make one other thing perfectly clear.
Sure. Go ahead.
This situation occurred because this situation occurred before, and they've gotten away with it. This is not a isolated incident and bad things happen. It did. Right. It did. But I guarantee you, if we was to actually do something of looking back at the previous concerts that he had, those same corners was cut, and they got away with it.
Oh yeah.
So why change? Why change anything?
I can answer that one.
Go for it, Doctron.
So, because I've been working with concerts for for so many years, here's the reason why they've done it. One, they're making a lot of money off of this concert whatsoever. Artists get paid more money doing this concert than them selling albums, because the record deals take a cut from the albums.
True.
When they go to concerts, they're making more money because, one, the promoters gets the star to go there. They pay him, okay, we're gonna pay you this much money to come here because we need you. So they pay these artists a lot of money, and the fact is, if they could save money on the securities, booze, whatever, to make more profit, to put more into the company, it's an okay for them. And this was definitely a cut corner big time, because safety should be the number one priority for a concert. Because when I was working for concerts, I was doing sound checks. I was making sure that we have the right barriers located for certain areas to make sure it's a constant right flow to make sure people can get in and out. Backstage, we got to make sure we have proper security for the backstage because we got to protect the artist that's coming in too. Front end, with the securities, they have to have a lot of security at the front because when you're having those metal detectors, all it takes is one little push, they all gonna knock off. So they have to make sure that's tightened down properly. And it's just been poorly designed, poorly executed whatsoever. I think this was rushed because during the pandemic, they didn't have any outlet to go concerts because everybody was stuck at home. And I think this concert was rushed to be produced and promoted.
You know, I don't know if it was, you may be right on the poorly produced for sure. I don't know if it was rushed. They could have been sitting on this for a while, but then at the end of the day, because it was poorly produced, it causes, because they were cutting corners, AKA that is where it's being poorly produced. You see what I'm saying? I think that they've had 2 years where they've been planning on doing something for a little bit. But then they want to save money because, he could have done one last year and then another one this year, but they haven't done any of that. Right. So the thing is that I think that when it comes to this whole thing, sorry, somebody's spamming the hell out of the chat right now. And it just totally threw me off. But the thing is that when it comes to this whole thing, I don't think it was rushed. I really do think that it has to do with them cutting corners, which is why it was poorly produced. They're going, okay, we're going to make money off of the liquor sales. We're going to make money off of merch because that's where the artist is really going to make a lot of this money from doing this show and doing this festival. So we're going to push, but we don't really need anybody that's fully qualified to do any of this stuff. And it's like, oh, do we really need every single medical staff to be fully qualified to do this job? Maybe not really, because who's gonna get crushed tonight? You know what I mean? What are the chances of somebody having ODing on weed? Not possible. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying they're probably thinking in their heads like, what are the possibilities? What are the chances of any of these freak accidents actually happening? So we good. We can cut a few things and throw a couple bucks to a few people that just want to get a job for the sake of earning some money, right? And so that's exactly what they did. But then
I agree. But
go ahead, Rush.
Yeah, I agree, but then I disagree. I'm gonna give you an example. So when I was in grad school, Rihanna came to Harvard, and I went to go and see her because I was not gonna miss that. Now, listen, we're supposed to be civilized people, right? Like she's gonna come and see some students. Allegedly, right? Supposedly, right? So I cannot tell you the different security measures that were in place when she's coming to campus. No one can convince me that this was not by design. When you have people that are working for a lot of these top entertainment companies, we're talking about Live Nation. We're not talking about Joe Blow down the street. We're talking about big artists, somebody like Travis Scott. We're talking about Drake. We're talking about big, well-known artists. Mm-hmm. If any corners were cut, and they were clearly cut severely, I'm telling you, it was by design. You don't have something of this magnitude and you don't dot every I and cross every T. If something is not done, if there was something that went unchecked, because there was so much downtime, as you all were saying, there was, big Rona running through the streets, got everybody locked down in the house, cooped up, can't do nothing, can't go anywhere. They had plenty of time to plan this. Facts. There's no sense. There's no reason for it to have been rushed.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Can I piggyback on that?
You got all that time to fester and think about what you want to do with your show. And you going, I want flames, and I want I want big flames, and I want this, and this. I want this design, all that stuff. All of it had time. They had 2 years to put this thing together. When it came to the staff, sure, they cut corners and they just kind of threw some people under the, they're like, we're just going to pay them in cash. No big deal. Right. But everything else was by design for sure. Greg, Go ahead. And I'm going to have to wrap up here soon, guys. So, Greg, go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
please.
Yes, sir. I want to first say congratulations, Miss Robbins. I see the Harvard shirt there. Good job, sister. One thing else I want, anybody see the recount of the young lady that was the security guard?
I didn't get
today,
to see that.
It came out today.
I need to see this video. Where's this video of this security guard saying anything? Because I want to see this for myself.
It's on YouTube. There's actually was a news report that interviewed a young man that worked. He said they didn't even have to have IDs. They didn't check bags. They didn't do corona checks. The young lady said something that was really interesting. She said that she was with a
Greg, was she white?
A young black lady.
Okay. Go ahead.
And it should be on YouTube. She said that there were police officers, and I guess it was an area by the security where the people was back there doing cocaine. And she said the police officer saw it, and he looked at her and just shrugged like he couldn't do nothing about it. He said they were doing cocaine, and the police saw the people doing it.
Time out. Hold on. What?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's news to me.
I hadn't heard that.
Yes.
I had no idea about that.
Right.
It just came out today. If you go to YouTube, put security account of some of the security employees. She said her team left. First, she said, first of all, half the security wasn't even allowed into it. And the way they got hired was over text message on phones. She said when the security came in, all they had to do was sign a paper. She said they were going to leave because they thought it was a scam to get money. Scam to get them out there. She didn't know what was going on. But she said they waited outside for a long time. Then finally they let them in. She said when they let them in, that the security, her boss, whoever's in charge, went and enjoyed the concert. She said she was stuck by herself. And at some point she got into some area back there where she said the kids was just snorting some substance. And she said she saw the police officer there and she was like, are you going to do something? What's going on? She said he saw that and he just shrugged and walked on about his business. I was shocked by that. She was shocked by it when she was giving her account. And the other gentleman said the same. He corroborated that. He said that she said they didn't even check their IDs. They gave them a vest and told them to go on about their business.
See, this is because somebody said it earlier. Somebody by the name of Cam said it earlier. And I was like, where is that video? I can't find it to save my life. I've been trying to find it since the beginning of the show.
I can put it in the chat if you like.
Shoot. Come on, man. Let's go.
All right, give me a moment.
Can I just say something and then I'm gonna log off here? I've been a part of many productions in my state and with local artists and things like that. And when it comes to security, you're gonna want to do the most, especially with a large crowd like that. And like they were saying, it felt, very rushed and almost like they didn't care about people's well-beings. It's just tragic that this happened, and I just want to thank you for letting me on. And I enjoy your content, and everybody had a great opinion, and I really hope some resolution comes to this because it's tragic.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Andrea. I do appreciate you coming on and spending your time with little old me. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good night.
All right. Good night. I need to find this. I think I saw
There's one more thing I want to say.
Go ahead, Darktron.
Well, here's another thing, and I don't know if you guys did any research on the company that providing all this, the Live Nation. They have a big track record of death during these events. So, yeah, that shows you they're going to be in deep waters right now after this one. Big time, especially with the Travis Scott.
Oh, I mean, like I said, this plot is still, it just keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker, and it's going to be, this is insane. Now we're hearing a security guard talking about cocaine. I'm like, I'm still trying to.
Now,
I'm trying to wrap my mind around this.
We got the same security people at the venue and we used it as as a formula of saying, hey, did he know to stop the concert and everything else? But let's just take that part away. We had security that was able to allow two individuals to get behind stage, get on the stage, and get behind a cameraman. We have security that allowed two men to get on stage close to Travis, not on the stage itself. Travis was on a platform itself. They literally got, what, 5 feet away from him? That was your security at this concert. Two men were able to get 5 feet away from the artist on a platform. I'm not shocked by the story candy thing. I'm not shocked.
I mean,
Okay, so I'm
sorry. Whoops. Yeah, the cocaine. That's still
cocaine. Yeah.
Yeah. You know yeah. That is still kind of a surprise to me. I mean, I don't know.
Well, if you look at the histories when you got rock bands and other artists, they've been smoking crack, doing behind the scene, behind the back. So that's not like new or anything, but it's relevant. It's going to happen at a festival or any concert. It's definitely going to be drugs involved because you can't stop it. It's very hard unless you have police dogs.
It's a concert. It's a concert. Yep. So what else is new, right? Of course, drugs are going to be involved. I mean, like none of us in this room, in this chat, have ever gone to a concert and ever consumed any type of alcohol or drugs. I mean, clearly we just drink Perrier and read the Bible, but still, that's a joke, everybody. That's a full-on joke. You can laugh. But still, the thing is that it's going to happen. When you go to a concert, when you go to a thing, you're going to see people lighting up. You're going to see people drinking. You're going to see people kicking it. It's
But not on this level, though. Not on this level. If someone, I think if there's anyone to be found out of like the people that jumped on stage and they got near the artist, all that, I want them to find the little hellion that was around here jabbing and stabbing people with needles. Now that right there, that's on a whole nother level. And I'm interested to see what these toxicology reports come back for these 8 individuals that ended up dying at the event, because if they ended up having cardiac arrest from some solution that they were injected with, what type of solution is this? Who is the person that is around here doing that? Now, when I was in the lab, because my background is in science, listen, so when I was in the lab, I was around here doing different lab experiments on mice and lots of different rodents and things, because that's what my experiments call for. Now, I know the types of needles and the types of solutions that it takes to knock out a mouse or a rat or a rabbit. Now, if you have some sort of solution in a needle that is rendering 8 people dead and several more unconscious, I can only imagine just how crazy and how maniacal someone looks running around with an instrument like this.
Right.
And it was immediately.
Right. Right.
His report was that he felt a prick in his neck.
And then immediately
passed out.
Yeah.
So
OD'd on opioids.
That's evil.
Oh,
that is evil.
Oh, give him Narcan to bring him back to life. Yep. I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. It was literally, like I said before, I think it was the perfect storm. It was the trifecta, the perfect storm of just all bad things happening all at the same time. Just chaos, begetting chaos, chaos begetting chaos, just for the sake of chaos. You know what I mean? And honestly, I don't think, in my heart of hearts, I would hope that Travis Scott is not that type that was hoping for that kind of energy out there. Chaos, sure, but not the level of where people are getting pricked in the neck with opioids and people are dying and getting crushed to death. That stuff is just, like I said, it's just it's mind-blowing that those things even happen. But I do think it was a trifecta, the perfect storm of just evil Guys, Darktron69, Radical Truth to Power, and Rush Ribbons. Thank you so much for being on. I really do appreciate you guys.
No
Thank
problem, brother.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have a good night.
You too, man. Right. Bye.
$3 back to your.
Whoops. So the thing is I do have the video. We are going to look at this before we head off. This is a video that we need to take a look at. Real talk, because it is a security woman is telling her piece about all of this ish. So, sit down, grab a drink. We got one last video to look at. Because I didn't want to have to end up doing a pop-up video. I might as well do it with you guys as a fam. Enjoy this together. All right. Gasp and be in awe with this story. Because I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting one for sure. Shout out to Greg. Thank you so much for sending this to me. We can finally get down to the nitty-gritty and hear this other security officer's perspective on what happened at the AstroWorld Festival.
Okay, so I'm finna get right into it, and I'm finna start from the beginning, because this entire process has been very sketch from the beginning. So we basically got this offer for one of my homegirls. Her daddy was looking for some security guards. So he asked us for like our information, which was basic information like weight, height, and like stuff like that. So we gave him the information. He said, okay. He gave us like the stuff that we were supposed to do and all this other stuff. So let me just say it was very sketch from the very beginning, because I was the only one who got emails. Like the other three guys that I was with, which was my husband, my nephew, and his homeboy, they never got emails about none of the stuff, only me. So I was already thinking to myself, like, this is very just all over the place.
Let me ask you this though. This lady, his name, obviously, I'm just looking at this video cold turkey, but real talk, she has no experience at all. I mean, is this a girl that just wanted to secure a bag real quick, make a couple bucks real fast, or did she have security experience? That's the question I'd like to know.
And so so just a little bit about the job. We were supposed to get paid, fed, and stuff like that, and you get in free. I mean, who wouldn't take the offer? So we drove from Dallas to Houston, and by the time we was all supposed to be there at 7. So by the time we got there, it was 7, and we walked into like complete freaking chaos. Like there was like literally probably like 900 security guards there. But like regular people. They were regular people, but there's going to be security guards, and they were like all over the place, right? It was like everybody just all over the place. Nobody knew who was in charge. It was just a mess. So then finally this dude stood up and he was like, okay, if you trying to be a security guard, come with me, whoop, whoop. So we all went over. We all was getting in line to sign up. They took and my nephew and his homeboy out the line and some other people out the line. And we looking at each other like, okay, what's going on? And we figured it out that they were probably going to get rid of us because we were too small. The dude said, no, we're not going to get rid of y'all. Y'all just going to work less hours. And we was like, okay, cool. So that's when we stayed outside the line for a long time. And there was rumors going around that people weren't going to get paid and that we were getting scammed and that, like it was just a bunch of mess and drama. So people started leaving, like security started leaving, and then they started basically picking who they wanted to go inside, who they wanted to do what, blah 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 blah.
So what? So they drove all the way from Dallas to Houston to be a part of this whole thing. When they finally got there, they found out, like, I guess they said, oh, you're too small, so on and so forth. But we're still going to use you. We can still use you no matter what. We're just going to give you different hours. And then on top of that, they were hearing rumors from other people that they were hearing that they could possibly have been scammed, that they might not even get paid for the time that they put in to be there in the first place. Does that sound like an organized situation at all?
So yeah, as you can see, it was all over the place. So we thought that we were gonna get sent home. We go to the car. Next thing I know, my husband gets us in, and then me and him get picked to go inside the concert. This is when shit just started getting weird. Okay, just started getting weirder. Go to part 2.
Okay.
Okay, so it's complete chaos everywhere, right? So finally, we figure out that we're finna get ready to go inside.
Have
Y'all,
mercy.
let me just put this out there. People had bags and backpacks and everything like that. They never once searched no bags. They searched no bags. Nobody was COVID tested. There was even this girl I met inside the concert who actually said she showed them a fake vaccination paper, and she was able to get in. She was so lit about being able to get away with that. So yeah, just a little disclaimer.
Now, you heard my interview with Liliana Lopez, and she said the same damn thing. So please go and check out that interview when you get a chance. Real talk, go check it out when you get a chance. But real talk, they weren't even looking at credentials, papers, nothing. They just kept it moving. They just pushed people right through. That's insane, y'all.
They did not care about COVID, and they didn't care about what was in security's bags and stuff like that. And let me also remind y'all that we were regular people off the streets, like regular people off the streets. They did no background check. They did nothing. Okay, nothing. So we get inside, and we're basically trying to figure out like what area we're gonna work. Now, mind you guys, I only thought that I was going to be doing something simple like scanning bracelets and checking bags, something normal. Very much not. That was not the case. I was about to be doing some real life work that I'd never done in my life. So that was another problem that I just thought was so dumb. So we were walking around, basically trying to figure out where we were going to work. And it was just a mess. I'm listening to all the other people that's coming in as security guards. They're about to work. They are not even normal people. Like, they sound like they're not all the way there up there, and that they have just like, they were like a little off, a little slow. And then he was saying like, okay, everybody needs to call their family, let them know like, we'll do like, you all right and what we about to be doing, because in a few minutes your service is not gonna work. I don't know if that's like a normal thing at concerts, because yeah, that was not normal to me. That was very sketchy and very weird. And I was like, okay. So I started letting my family know like, I'm not gonna have service. Whoop. Mind you, my nephew.
Wait, what? They turned off what? You couldn't even use your what? You couldn't use your phone? What? Okay.
Them is still outside the gates. They didn't even get in. So I was calling them, letting them know like, hey, y'all need to hurry up and let me know when y'all get in, because if y'all don't get in, we're gonna leave. So we're just walking around all over the place, don't know where we're gonna be. The head security man that was over us did not know where we were gonna go. He was just like lost as us, literally just as lost as us. And they were like, okay, we're gonna guard this area, we're gonna guard that. It was just a mess. You had security guards taking off their vest and just blending in with the regular crowd. You had security guards getting high. Yeah, it was just a hot mess, okay? So, yeah, everybody's just walking around lost.
She said it really fast, but did you hear? Did you catch that? She said that really fast. So some security guards were getting high as hell. Just getting high, just high. She just said in passing like it was another. Clearly, this is, there's a lot going on in this story. But yeah, other security guards that were there to make sure everybody's okay, were getting high as hell, not even giving a damn. I mean, it's a Travis Scott show, right? So they're getting paid to see somebody that they probably do like, right? So they're kind of like, well, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? There's not going to be the perfect storm of evil and chaos. There's no way. So let's just get high, baby. She said that fast. She said that with the quickness, but I caught it.
Then that's when we get to this area, and it's like where we're going to actually be working, right? And there's police officers there. Houston PD. The real deal. Not fake security, but the real deal, okay? Okay, so then we see the officers, and they up there just chilling, having a good time, doing nothing. And I was thinking, okay, maybe that's because the concert didn't start yet, whatever. So we were just walking around. Everything was just like, it was just like in slow-mo, just weird. The vibe was off because everybody was so confused and nobody knew what they were doing, including the people that was over us. So finally the officers leave and I'm like, okay, they're gonna go work. I was wrong. So yeah, let's skip to when the concert is starting and there's people there. Tell me why. We're looking around because as a security, you're just standing there. You're just looking. And we're looking, and I'm looking at all these officers, and I'm like telling my husband, like, hey, they're not doing nothing. Like, they're not even doing nothing. Like, they're just recording on their phones, enjoying the concert, and basically leaving the work to us. People who are not even certified for this, okay? They are leaving the job on us, and that was just a no for me. I was like, that's weird. I don't like that they're doing that. So I'm just looking around. I'm seeing all these fans and stuff like that, like all the people who bought tickets and stuff come in. They're strange. They're not normal. And I'm just like, this is like, it just felt like off the whole day. And then the dude that was over us, the security, like the main guy that was over us, this man is like harassing women and like flirting so hard with them that he's like scaring them and they're like leaving. And he was like taking pictures with like some women and stuff like that. Remind you, not doing his job. And he's just like chilling, just parlaying all over the place. And so finally.
Okay. Woo! Oh. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but this is insane. This is insane. So dude was trying to get some numbers, trying to throw some, holla at some ladies. I'm sorry. Oh my God! If only he knew what was going to happen in just a few, in just a short while, right?
We looking, I see like at the corner of my eye, like something coming over the gate. Tell me why it's a million little fans jumping over the gate. And I'm like telling my husband, like, okay, like go, because they were already saying like if you don't do nothing either, you're gonna get fired and you won't get your money and stuff. So I was like, okay, go over there, like help. Tell me why this security man, the big one that's over us, fell. And then he gets over there and he does nothing, just staring at them coming over the gate. Like he did nothing. He just watched them come over the gate. And I'm just like, this is giving me very much bad vibes. Like
everybody, all the security, like we saw it in other videos. So what this security guard did too was just kind of like, this is beyond my pay grade, and just let it be what it was. Let it be, let it be. You know what I mean? He just let it be. So let him go. Hey, come on through. It's all good. Let's just let it be.
I was like, this is getting wild, and it's still early. Like, it's not even dark. And I was telling my husband, I was like, hey, like, I don't want you running up to like a bunch of fans and stuff when stuff is going crazy, because they gave us nothing to protect ourselves. They don't care about us. And I was like, it's just not worth our life. Like, we got kids to go home to at the end of the day. I hate it, but like, we're not certified for this. We didn't even know the grounds. We didn't know nothing. And it was just like, no. I was like, no, don't do that. So we basically made up in our mind that like from now on, it was basically like, we're going to watch. And before y'all start, we were not going to watch people die, okay? We were not going to watch them die.
Of course.
It was just like when they were jumping the gates, there's nothing we can do to stop them. That's the part we were going to. This comment right here is so true. True. Okay.
What does that say? It says real quick before she continues. They hired y'all as security when technically you would only qualify as a volunteer staff. The whole thing is tragic.
Okay, so anyways, so then we asked the boss, like after they broke in or whatever, and then it like kind of like this area was kind of like a little bit dry at this point, because now the police officers are actually on the outside of the gate. But they didn't stay there long, okay? They didn't stay there long. So we asked the boss, we was like, hey, can we go up to the other area where there's more people and there's more crowd, and we can probably try to all spread out over there and keep them from basically smushing each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, y'all don't want to be up there because the music is too loud. You can't think, you can't hear. But he only said that because he didn't want to go up there. He just wanted to stay in the back and flirt and do nothing, basically. He didn't want to even work. That's what I took it as. So I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, I was like, there's nobody back here. There's nothing for us to do back here, okay? There's nothing. So I felt like we should have been at the front. Nope, he didn't want to do it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then as the day goes on, y'all, this is the part that's about to get you. So not only do we not have service, and I thought that was very strange because the service had worked the entire time we was in there, but it did not work anymore. It completely did not work. Like you could not get hold to nobody from your phone. I thought that was weird. I also thought it was weird that my nephew and them was still stuck on the outside. They never ever got in. They never got in. We don't even know what was going on with that. They didn't even know what was going on with that. So then this is the part that gets me. We're sitting here. We're literally sitting here and I'm watching someone open their necklace, sniff something up their nose. You do with that what you will, okay? Sniff something up their nose. I look at the police officer, Houston PD, who looks at me, looking at him, and we're looking at them, and he does nothing.
So the dude does cocaine, and they did nothing. Five-O was there, yo. Saw it too. I'm sorry. What? Okay.
Nothing. He just looks at them sniffing and be weird. And the whole group is doing it. It's not just one person. It's the entire group. And I know he saw them because he literally looked at me and shook his head. And I'm thinking, what are you going to do? So with that being said, when y'all want to come for security, just remember, if Houston Police Department is not doing anything, what the hell can we do? We cannot do anything. Okay. So then it went on. Houston PD see people smoking illegal drugs and doing all this stuff, and they're doing nothing. So I told my husband, I was like, this is crazy because this is the only city I know where something could be illegal, and the police department looks right past it as if it's nothing. And you know what they're doing? They're just walking around enjoying the concert, not worried about anybody's safety, anybody's lives. And remind you, I usually don't care about people smoking, but there were kids there. Come on, kids.
Like they were treating this concert like it was Amsterdam. Like anything goes. It don't matter. Like somebody's snorting powder up their nose and cops didn't even do anything. They're like, well, it's a Travis Scott concert, so it comes with the territory. No big deal. Like, what? Why would you turn a blind eye? That person would have been facing the grass, like handcuffed, detained, thrown at the back of a squad car. But no, apparently at a Travis Scott show, it's okay.
Okay, so as the day go on, you could definitely tell that the drinks are kicking in, the drugs is kicking in. People were literally wowing. So let's skip to when Lil Baby went up, okay? So Lil Baby went up, and I'm now the only security at my station. I'm the only security because everybody else left and went to go enjoy the concert, okay? So I'm the only security there. And this man literally starts raging. He's like raging, like powering up, being very weird, yelling and screaming and just acting very delusional, and it was so creepy. And the bartender is like freaking out, and she's coming to me. She's like, "Oh my God, like where's the dude that's over you guys? Like, we need some help. We need to get him out of here." And I'm like, I don't even know. I'm looking all over for our boss. I'm looking all over for the boss, and I don't even know where he's at. So this man is literally going like crazy, and then some people that was there at the concert just literally had to get him, hold him down, and then take him away. It was like the scariest shit ever. And I was like, yeah, this is not normal. And so keep going, still looking around for this man. He's literally at the front of the concert, enjoying Lil Baby. Ain't you supposed to be the boss? Ain't you supposed to be over us?
Wow.
Like, this is a hot ass mess.
Wow.
And then you got people still in the back. You got people on the side, like where there's this little gate part where people are not supposed to be. You have people back there laid out on the ground. You got people back there pissing as if these people aren't on the ground. It's just a mess. Never once did I see security go back there and check any of that. Never once did I see police department go back there and check any of that. I never seen anybody do anything. These people were literally tripping out. Like, it was so scary. So afterwards, when the Lil Baby, when his part ended, the security man came back, and I was like, like people are like wilding, like, what are you gonna do? He was like, that's what they do at concerts. That has nothing to do with us. I mean, we just have to make sure that they don't jump over the gates.
Wow. 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 All right. That is a lot. That is a lot. And what a story. I don't know this woman's name, but shout out to her for just spilling all the tea on this piece. I mean, here it is, y'all. Clearly, some stuff was not right with this whole concert. We talked about this before, and it's nice to see that this, without a shadow of a doubt, was something going on with security. I mean, we do feel like there is something going on, or there was something going on with the medical staff as well. But this woman is just exposing it all. She putting cases on everybody right now. She doing her whole Denzel moment right now. She got cases on everybody. And I don't blame her. I appreciate her coming out and telling us her side of the story and her perspective. But her head of security, or her leader at that time for her sector or her section, didn't even give a damn. He was too busy trying to chase some scattered girls, some scattered booty, get some numbers, and enjoy a show for the free 99. Actually, he was getting paid to enjoy a show. That's how it went down. It seemed like they were all plain clothed security. Like they weren't handed anything. She even said herself, they had no background checks on them, no nothing. They didn't have anything on them at all to prove that they had any kind of experience at all whatsoever. That makes no sense. You know for a fact, when you have multiple lives at stake, right? The safety of those people, you have to make sure that you have the people that are signing up for the job. You have to make sure that they are absolutely 110% qualified to do said job. It doesn't make sense to make a chef fly a plane, or a pilot to cook a 5-star dinner at a 5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It just does not make any sense. So why would you just give anybody this job? Any person just walking off the street this job? It makes no sense. Clearly, as we talked about it earlier in this conversation, clearly they were cutting corners. This makes me think of the whole Alec Baldwin situation, where the gun went off and killed that DP, that cinematographer and everything. You know, they, by any means necessary, if they can save $1, right? If they can save $1, then they win. Instead of saying, let us bring in the best that money can buy, or that we can actually afford, that we can comfortably afford, so that we get the best, so that people's lives aren't at stake. People are saved if something does happen like this. If Ish hits the fan. And when Ish hit the fan, even the guy that was over her leader, right, her boss for that particular night, was out in the front having a grand old time trying to get lit and trying to get some girls. People were able to walk into the show with backpacks that were never searched. They had paperwork and proof of vaccinations that were never checked. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And then on top of that, the people hopping over the fence and busting through the metal detectors just by the thousands, and having those security and cops to stand there watching them as they run by, says how ill prepared they were for this event. It's such a sad story, y'all. I mean, obviously more and more is coming out, right? And I do appreciate this lady for coming out with this video. and showing her perspective. Because here's the thing, that video should not exist, right? She should be like, we did everything we could. We tried everything. We didn't know what else we could have done. We were stuck between a rock and a hard place. I looked to my leader, to my boss, and he was pushing people back and he was trying to save people. Nah. He was too busy trying to have a grand old time, getting paid to see an artist he probably really likes a lot. That's a damn shame, y'all. Again, this is a perfect example of why you do not cut corners or shave pennies just so you can have a few dollars in your pocket. You do the right thing and you bring in the right people that are qualified, that are well qualified, well beyond qualified to do the right job when ish hits the fan. Period. Full stop. If they did that, this situation, this tragedy would not have occurred. Anyway, guys, that is the show today, or for tonight, and not today. But I do appreciate all you guys for being on. Man, shoot, y'all been amazing. I see 1,000 people still watching the show right now as we speak. Please hit that like button. Send those likes past 800 likes. That would really mean a lot to me. Or if you can get it to 1,000, that'd be amazing too. That would really mean a lot to me as well. Okay, so hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, y'all. Okay, hit that subscribe button. That'd be really appreciated. I probably will not be on tomorrow morning. I'm going to take the time to get some rest. These were 2 very big shows, so I think I'm going to take the morning off to just rest. But if something does pop off, I will most likely hop on in the morning. But I think I'm going to take tomorrow morning to take some much needed R&R and give my voice some rest. Okay, so yes, hit that like button before you leave. Hit that subscribe button, please, please, please. I see, we have. Let's see. I just lost her. So many. Where did you go? I just lost her. But Maeve said she subscribed. So hopefully you guys are doing the same. You know what I mean? Being smart and subscribing. Okay? Most definitely. You know what I mean? But anyway. Man. And of course, if I know of any more information, I will definitely let you guys know more information if anything's popping off revolving around this story or any other stories, because we do cover other things other than just this festival. Let's keep it straight funky. But anyway, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below. It's time to get going, okay? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.